Chapter 2885, Forging a Pill from a Pill. Chapter 2885, Forging a Pill from a Pill. Fu Shishan could not see it. Suwana could not see it. Long Fei stood on the street, hesitating and at a loss. He did not know what to do. He knew in his heart that no one would believe him. Who would believe a person from the lower realms? Who would give up the opportunity to break through so quickly? Everyone hoped to become stronger. If Long Fei didn't know that the spirit-gathering pill was actually an evil powder, he would also take it. Sigh, is there really no other way? Long Fei sighed in his heart, looking at the people walking on the street and listening to the discussions about the spirit-gathering pill. His heart ached for some unknown reason. He was not a saint, nor was he a good person. However, he really didn't want this place to become a dead city. He had no way to change it, but Long Fei did not give up. He was still thinking of a way, no matter what, to save at least one person. At this moment, Qian Yin appeared. Long Fei was slightly surprised. After passing through a few long streets, they arrived at a rather remote and simple courtyard. Dean of Donghuang College sat cross-legged. His body was tranquil and indifferent, with incense beside him. In the faint smoke, he looked like an old god. Hearing that, Dean of Donghuang College opened his eyes and exhaled slowly. The true spirit in his body calmed down. He stood up and revealed a kind smile to Long Fei and said, "You went to the Su family and touched a wall." Long Fei smiled, bowed, and said, "Greetings, Lord Principal, and thank you for your help. I will forever remember this." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Dean of Donghuang College waved his hand and said, "Hi, let's not talk about this anymore. Tell me about what happened to you today. Why do you insist on seeing City Lord Su? Is it really for his daughter Su? If it's for his daughter, then I advise you to give up on this idea. It would be better for you to wholeheartedly focus on your cultivation." In all of East Imperial City, there was probably no one who knew the Su family and Suwana more than him. Suwana wholeheartedly wanted to leave the East Imperial City, so he had been looking for opportunities. However, he knew that with his cultivation, it would be difficult to improve, and at his current age, Fatry sect simply did not think much of him. By chance, descendant of God's tribe took a fancy to his daughter. This was an excellent opportunity for him to talk to the Su clan. Naturally, he would not let anyone destroy this perfect opportunity. It was only natural for the water to flow to the bottom and the people to walk to the top. Long Fei said, "The principal has misunderstood. I am not going to the Su family for Su, but for another important matter. It concerns the safety of the entire city." "Oh!" The dean of Donghuang College was startled and couldn't help but look at Qian Yin from the corner of his eyes. He didn't care, but he would know anything that happened in the city. The Donghuang College had its own independent information department. Qian Yin said, "Something big happened in the city? Why don't I know?" Long Fei replied, "Spirit-gathering pill." Qian Yin said, "Spirit-gathering pill?" With the cold winter approaching, even warriors with the help of the spirit-gathering pills can level up. This is a good thing, and the prices are cheap, so I can basically afford it. To the warriors of the East Imperial City, this is like a chance, a good thing that cannot be missed. Hearing him say this, Long Fei knew that Qian Yin did not know about the dangers of the spirit-gathering pill. The dean of Donghuang College smiled faintly and said, "Could it be because the spirit-gathering pill overshadowed your Zhongling pills?" Long Fei was startled and thought in his heart, "Does he know that I refined the Zhongling pills?" He did not admit nor deny it. The spirit pill is indeed powerful. It allows a person to frantically absorb their true spirit for a short period of time, allowing them to quickly break through their shackles. But have you ever thought about why a 6th-grade medicinal pellet is sold so cheaply? 100 grand mist crystals is not even enough for a spirit grass. Furthermore, why is there a limit of 1 pellet for each person? Qian Yin replied, "Everyone says that the merchant union that is stationed in East Imperial City this time is an outer sect of the God's tribe. Rumor has it that it's the God's tribe's charity for the East Imperial City. Also, a place that the Merchant Union has set up to seize the market and sell high-grade elixirs at a low price. This is a very normal thing to do. Dean of Donghuang College looked at Long Fei and asked, "Is there a problem with the spirit-gathering pill?" Long Fei nodded and said, "It is an evil pill." As soon as he finished speaking, Dean of Donghuang College and Xin Yan's eyes trembled as they stared at Long Fei. Long Fei continued to speak. "Not only is it the evil pill, it is also an extremely sinister type of Guling Dan. When you consume the pill, the goo worm in the pill will quickly enter your body. And in order to make the goo worm stronger, it will release its own energy, which will allow the host to absorb a large amount of breath of true spirit, to break through, to become stronger, and at the same time, the goo worm will also become stronger." More than half of East Imperial City's tens of millions of warriors have already bought spirit-gathering pills, and the other half are in the process of being purchased. Once the time is up, I'm afraid, East Imperial City will become a puppet city, and that's only the best side. The worst side will be when tens of millions of warriors die, and in the dead of winter, the ancient monster in western regions will trample over East Imperial City. Dean of Donghuang College was stunned. Qin Yan's expression was the same, as if he had heard a mythical story. He looked at Long Fei in shock, his face filled with disbelief. After a long time, Dean of Donghuang College said, "This is no small matter. Do you have any evidence?" Evidence? Long Fei was startled. This was something that he had seen through the system. It was impossible for him to tell that there was a system in his head that could see through all the attributes of treasures, right? Long Fei shook his head and said no. Qin Yan said, "How did you know without evidence?" "Mr. Long, this is not a joke. Once you make it difficult, you will be invincible against all the warriors in the East Imperial City." Long Fei said firmly, "But I am 100% sure that spirit-gathering pills are evil pill." Dean of Donghuang College looked at Long Fei. His eyes tensed up as though he was trying to see through him. After listening for half a minute, he said, "You came to the Su family because of this matter?" Long Fei nodded. "Yes." Dean of Donghuang College exhaled, then said, "It's been hard on you. What do you want me to do?" These words caused Long Fei to be secretly shocked. He never thought that the Dean of Donghuang College would actually support him when he could not take out any evidence, and this matter would drag everyone into it. Moreover, the power behind the spirit-gathering pill must be very strong. Otherwise, it wouldn't be viable. Long Fei pondered for a moment, then said, "I need some people to help me." "Who?" Dean of Donghuang College asked. Long Fei said, "The strongest alchemy master in the East Imperial City, at the same time, is a trustworthy person." Dean of Donghuang College was stunned. "What do you want these people for?" Long Fei said, "Pills against pills, pill alliance against pill alliance. Since he is an evil pill, then let's develop a new pill to defeat him." He would concoct a pill from pill. It was also a form of gambling. This was the only thing that Long Fei could think of at the moment. However, time was running out. If he couldn't come up with a way to deal with it, then he would lose. He was betting the entire East Imperial City. Chapter 2886 Convener. Chapter 2886 Convener. The stakes were high, but it was the only way. Once the announcement that the spirit-gathering pill was an evil pill was made, it would cause panic. This was not the most fatal thing. The most fatal thing was that everyone believed that Long Fei prevented them from breaking through. There was a saying, breaking off a person's road to wealth was akin to killing one's parents. In terms of martial artist cultivation, breaking through was like killing their entire family. He would definitely not let Long Fei live. Furthermore, the power behind the spirit-gathering pill is hidden. You don't even know how strong he is. If Long Fei were to announce it, he will become the public enemy of the entire East Imperial City. Dean of Donghuang College thought for a moment. That is a good idea. But Dean of Donghuang College looked at Long Fei and said, "Are you confident you can produce a pill to fight against the goose spirit pill?" Qin Yan was also looking at Long Fei. Long Fei shook his head and replied truthfully, "No." Dean of Donghuang College's gaze tensed up. Long Fei said, "But I will do my best." Dean of Donghuang College took a deep breath out and said, Elder Qian, go call Song Tiansheng, the Alchemy Union's president and vice president over. Qianyan immediately said, Lord Principal, isn't this too? He did not even confirm a pill. And he still trusted Long Fei? The dean of Donghuang College did not explain and said, Go call the others first. Qianyan did not dare delay and immediately replied, Yes. Long Fei slightly said, Principal, I have a presumptuous request. Can you let Business Alliance of Fu family participate as well? Fu Shishan had helped him before. Moreover, this name was very strong in his subconscious, just like someone he had met before. Now that the Business Alliance of Fu family was in trouble, even if the elders say something, Long Fei still wanted to help the Business Alliance of Fu family. As long as the Business Alliance of Fu family was involved, once the obstruction was successful, the Business Alliance of Fu family's position in the East Imperial City would instantly rise. This was a very good opportunity. The dean of Donghuang College did not hesitate and said to Qianyan, Also invite the manager of Business Alliance of Fu family over. Qianyan nodded, Yes. Long Fei said, I'll head back first. Dean of Donghuang College replied, All right. Long Fei left quickly and hadn't returned home for an entire day. He was worried that Lan Mei would become anxious. Watching Long Fei leave, the dean of Donghuang College asked softly, What does this have to do with the Mu clan after all? Why was the Mu clan looking for him? Kill him? It doesn't seem like it. If I kill him, I don't even need to use the divine mourning token. Then what is it for? He had been searching through the history of the Mu clan the entire night, but he hadn't found anything. However, from the looks of what happened today, he felt that Long Fei was not simple, regardless of the level of one's cultivation. Long Fei's view of the overall situation was already extremely hard to come by. Dean of Donghuang College muttered, Looks like I'll have to wait until this matter is over before heading to Xiaoyao City. Cannon, come out. He answered about the residence before his death. Long Fei called Tan DePeo, who was secretly protecting him down. Tan DePeo said in a low voice, Everything is normal for sister-in-law. She is now like a little girl living at home. Long Fei said, I may have to leave for a period of time, but I will always be at East Imperial City, don't worry. Also, did not consume the relatively popular spirit gathering pills recently. Tan DePeo nodded, Understood. He did not ask why, because whatever Long Fei said was the truth. Long Fei said, When I'm not around, you have to protect Lan Mei well. Tan DePeo nodded and said, Don't worry, I know about that. After finishing his instructions, Long Fei walked into the room. Now that it was already late in the night, he looked at Lan Mei, who was fast asleep on the bed, and quietly sat on the edge of the bed. Lan Mei didn't care if Lan Mei heard or not, and said softly, I'm going out to cultivate for a period of time. Also, don't give up. You're my Long Fei's woman. Even if Clear Sky Prison is sealed. So what if your lifeline is sealed? If I, Long Fei, do not agree, no one can even think of stopping me. I will definitely help you find a way to resolve the life vein congestion. Finished. Long Fei glanced at Lan Mei. He wanted to go up and kiss him, but he was afraid that he would wake Lan Mei up. In the end, he could only give up and lightly exit the room. The moment Long Fei left the room, the tears at the corner of Lan Mei's eyes could not help but flow down. She had been awake the entire time, and after hearing what had just been said, her heart was moved to a complete mess. He said that I am his woman, and I am his woman. Lan Mei, oh Lan Mei, just how much fortune did you cultivate in your past life for your current generation to be able to make me meet such a good man? But, is there any way to unblock my blocked lifeline? If there is, it should be the last method that Father told me to do, right? If not for, I would rather choose to die. If it's with Long Fei, Thinking about it, Lan Mei's cheeks flushed red, extremely bashful. This body fusion might be her only chance. However, she had to merge with the Holy Vein. If she did not have the Holy Vein, her fate was to suffer a backlash and die. Is Long Fei a Holy Vein? She didn't know. Right now, she only knew that she was Long Fei's woman. Even if she could live, she would definitely not merge with other men. Even if she died, she wouldn't. You want me to go to the Dongwon College to discuss it? Could it be that you want to give my business alliance of Fu family the chilling winter supplies? When Fu Shishan received Qian Yan's personal invitation, her pitch-black face finally broke into a smile. The few elders were also excited. As long as we can win this cooperation, then our business alliance of Fu family will be saved. That's right. It's winter soon. Our business alliance of Fu family has placed all of our focus on the supply of winter of that year. As long as we take down this agreement, we don't have to worry about anything anymore. Receiving the dean of Donghuang College's invitation, they all inwardly heaved a sigh of relief. Qian Yin reminded them in particular, please keep the matter regarding the invitation a secret. Fu Shishan immediately replied, understood. Naturally, he had to keep his trade secrets a secret. Qian Yin slightly said, all right, then Boss Fu, please come with me. Fu Shishan did not stay any longer and immediately took his leave. You want to go to Dongwon College to discuss something? It's already so late. If there's something urgent, can it be tomorrow? The president of the Alchemy Union, Liu Yaohe, had a face of reluctance. In his arms were two cute and tender women with white skin, who were also acting coquettishly. Master, we're not going anymore. Exactly. Liu Yaohe pinched their fleshy areas and said, I still need an invitation to go to Dean of Donghuang College. All right, you guys get me dressed. He was unhappy, but he did not dare to reject Dean of Donghuang College's invitation. No matter what, he was Donghuang College's honorary alchemy grade instructor. In comparison to the president, Alchemy Union's vice president Wu Li had arrived early. The second one who rushed over was Donghuang College's grade instructor Song Tianqing. Then there was the Long Fei. Song Tianqing was slightly shocked when he saw Long Fei, and his words contained a trace of contempt. Why are you here? Dean, why is he here? Brat, this isn't a place you should be. Hurry up and get lost. Chapter 2887, Goo Worm Outbreak. Chapter 2887, Goo Worm Outbreak. He had a look of despise on his face. Long Fei was already extremely unhappy during the last auction. Seeing it again today, especially in the Dongwon College S, made Song Tianqing even more unhappy. What is your identity? Don't you have your own points? Is this also a place where you can come? Song Tianqing's face was filled with contempt. Long Fei was dissatisfied in his heart, but Song Tianqing was still someone that the dean of Donghuang College had called over, so he endured it and did not make a sound. But Song Tianqing did not let it go. This old man is talking to you. Are you deaf? I told you to get out of here. Didn't you hear me? Endure it once, twice. Long Fei could not tolerate it and directly said, the one who is going to get out is probably you, right? Song Tianqing's eyes twitched, and he bellowed, Brat, you're tired of living. Do you know who you're talking to? Long Fei said, talking to dogs could be to humans. How come I see that it is a dog? And he's still a shameless dog. Song Tianqing was instantly enraged. The aura on his body suddenly exploded. Wang. Long Fei was also not someone to be trifled with. Staring at him, he immediately shouted, I can even kill Lien Kaijiang if you have the guts. Try it in front of me. You making lousy unhappy? You want to feel good? Song Tianqing's body immediately sank. Lien Kaijiang was at the peak of the Supreme Realm, so his strength was at most at half of Lien Kaijiang's level. Although he did not hear about Long Fei killing Lien Kaijiang at the scene, he had heard all kinds of discussions about it. It could be said that it was an instant kill. If that was really the case, he was really no match for Long Fei. Song Tianqing's expression secretly changed. Wu Li walked forward while chuckling and said, Don't hurt our relationship. Instructor Song, please don't lower yourself to the younger generation, and there must be a reason why Brother Long Fei is here. If the dean hadn't invited him, he wouldn't have come, right? Song Tianqing slightly retracted the aura on his body, swung his sleeves, and coldly snorted, humph. He looked away. Wu Li looked at Long Fei and said, Brother Long, you're famous in the East Imperial City now. Long Fei laughed. Wu Li said, You must introduce me to the senior who refined the Zheng Ling pills. Song Tianqing contemptuously said, Zheng Ling pills? It's already out of date. The spirit gathering pill is 100 times better than the Zheng Ling pills. President Wu, "You should study the spirit-gathering pill." It was extremely disdainful. Long Fei was also unwilling to lag behind, and said, "I'm afraid that there are people who are unable to develop it. You must have wasted all those pills you bought, right?" Song Tianqing's gaze tightened with hatred. Indeed, the Zhongling pills that he had bought were all wasted on his research, and not a single one of them was used, wasting a large amount of money. At this moment, as Fu Xishan walked into the courtyard, the first person he saw was Long Fei. His eyes flickered and a bit of tears flickered as he ran in front of Long Fei and threw himself into Long Fei's embrace, his face full of worry. "Why didn't you come for me when you came back? Do you know how worried I am about you? Do you know how afraid I am to lose you again?" His entire body could be said to have collapsed in an instant. He completely ignored the dumbstruck expressions of the people around him. Recently, she had been worrying about Long Fei. However, because of business alliance of Fu family's current predicament, coupled with the pressure from the various elders, making her unable to leave the merchant union, she had been looking forward to Long Fei finding her. But after a day had passed and Long Fei still had not appeared, she became even more worried that the situation in God's martial continent would repeat itself. As time passed, she had lost Long Fei. Although it was impossible to prove it, in Fu Xishan's heart, the current Long Fei was the one on the God's martial continent. His personality was completely the same. Long Fei hugged Fu Xishan and said in a low voice, it's my fault. Don't be like this. Many people are watching." He did not say that he had gone to the business alliance of Fu family. He did not want the elders of the business alliance of Fu family and Fu Xishan to become enemies. Fu Xishan played with his temper and said, "I don't care." Wu Li revealed an envious smile. "Brother Long sure is lucky." Song Tianqing had a look of despise on his face. At this moment, the president of the Alchemy Union, Lu Yaohe, walked in. Seeing Fu Xishan leaning on Long Fei's chest, his eyes lit up, and he said slightly, "Which family is this lady from, to be so pretty?" As he stared at Fu Xishan's chest and face, his Adam's apple couldn't help but roll. He raised his eyes to look at Long Fei, and then said coldly with an annoyed expression, "Who is this kid? Instructor Song, who is he?" Song Tianqing laughed and said, "He is famous. He flew up from the lower planes. He needs inherent skills and no inherent skills. He needs blood vein S, and he also needs to be a poor kid who wants to eat swan meat like a toad. I think he's deaf. Let him fly. F***CK. What rubbish. Is this also a place where you can come? Get out." Lu Yaohe's face instantly changed as he stared coldly at Long Fei, feeling extremely displeased. Especially when Fu Xishan was in Long Fei's embrace, he was even more unhappy. Fu Xishan also had a face full of unhappiness. Her eyes spouted fire as she looked at Song Tianqing. Wu Li whispered a few words into Lu Yaohe's ear. Lu Yaohe's face was filled with disdain and said, "Long Fei? So what? Isn't it a muggle from a lower plane? People from the lower realms were not to be looked down upon. The trash in the eyes of the natives of Universal Realm. The person who seized the cultivation resources." At this time, the dean of Donghuang College walked out of the courtyard. Everyone quieted down. Fu Xishan also left Long Fei's embrace. Dean of Donghuang College went straight to the point. "The reason I called you over so late is because I have something urgent to discuss with you guys. Recently, the fiery spirit gathering pills on the market was actually made by the demonic sex pill masters. This is our negligence. The reason I called you here is to develop a strategy to deal with the spirit gathering pill." As soon as he finished speaking, other than Long Fei and Qian Yin, the other three were all shocked. Lu Yaohe said, "I've examined the spirit gathering pill. There's no evil spirit grass present. It's a very normal pill." Song Tianqing was also puzzled. "I have verified it too. There is nothing strange about it." They were all 7th-stage alchemists and top alchemy masters within the East Imperial City. Wooly did not say anything. He was a grade 6 alchemist, so he did not have the qualifications to speak in front of a grade 7 alchemist. The dean of Donghuang College said, "The spirit gathering pill is an evil pill, moreover the goose spirit pill. There are goo worms hidden within the pills, and they look exactly the same as normal pills. Goo. Their eyes darkened. Their hands unconsciously touched their stomachs. Long Fei noticed this detail and thought, seems like they all consumed spirit-gathering pills. Not only that, the spirit-gathering pills they consumed were even specially made. Lu Yaoha's pupils slightly changed, and she said, Lord Headmaster, how do you know about all these? It's not like you're an alchemy master. This was all people that the dean of Donghuang College trusted, so he didn't hide anything and said, it was Long Fei who found out, and he was the one who asked me to call you all here. You are all the top alchemy masters within the city, without waiting for Dean of Donghuang College to finish. Suddenly, Lu Yaoha's eyes suddenly became gold. His gaze became gloomy as he stared straight at Long Fei, giving him no chance, a palm striking towards Long Fei's head. It was so fast that no one could react in time. However, Long Fei's gaze tightened, and at the moment Lu Yaoha pounced, the killing flying sword moved. Shua! A sword flew out. Chapter 2888, Alchemy Technique, +2. Chapter 2888, Alchemy Technique, +2. Everything had happened too quickly, completely unexpected. If Long Fei hadn't noticed Lu Yaoha's slight movement in advance, he wouldn't have reacted so quickly. And then again, with the fusion of the flying sword ancient inheritance, its sensitivity and reaction were all due to the Mahayana realm. It would react instantly if it felt even the slightest bit of danger. Roar! Lu Yaoha roared like a demon beast. Her 5 fingers formed a claw, locking towards Long Fei's throat. At this moment, the suppressive force formed by the immense power of his body came crushing down one after another. The power of the thunder heavily struck. Long Fei, Fu Xishan exclaimed. Too fast. No one reacted, adding that Lu Yaoha was only a few meters away from them. At that distance, even the Dean of Donghuang College's royal realm would not be able to save him. Dean of Donghuang College bellowed, Lu Yaoha! Rumble! Die! Lu Yaoha spat out a word and locked his claws down. But, just as his claws were about to grab onto Long Fei's throat, just half a centimeter away from his throat, a sharp fingernail had already pierced a bloody gash on Long Fei's throat. His body suddenly froze. Lu Yaoha's eyes suddenly widened, and his eyeballs seemed as if they were about to pop out. Both eyes stared at Long Fei, and his body uncontrollably trembled. It twitched. His hands were still frantically trying to reach out and kill Long Fei. However, there was a sudden movement between his eyebrows. Swish! A flying sword pierced through. It directly pierced through the space between his eyebrows from the back of his head. After the flying sword pierced through him, it moved in the air and instantly disappeared without a trace, returning to Long Fei's pubes. However, Long Fei felt that his flying sword was a little weak. It was as if he had been severely injured. Thought for a while, I have to find a good material as soon as possible to fix it. Bam! The flying sword exploded, instantly killed. Lu Yaoha's eyes burned with anger, and he died with grievance. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lu Yao. You have received 100,000 experience, 100,000 true spiritual value, 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 1,000-year spirit fruit. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining secret technique, spirit boosting pill technique. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Grand Miss Crystal, 3032 crystals. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Elementalist level, 7. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for killing Lu Yaoha. You have obtained a special reward. Reward, Alchemy Technique, +2. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. My one is wiping. There were so many notifications all of a sudden. Not only did he receive special level of experience, what surprised Long Fei the most was that he actually received a system reward and even directly raised his alchemy technique by 2 levels. Don't just look at how small the 2-level of alchemy technique was. If he were to use his time to pile it up, he was afraid that it would never be able to level up again in the next 2 months. Awesome, my system bro. Long Fei secretly praised her. The system beeps were always so beautiful that Long Fei was unable to extricate himself from them. Brat, you dare to kill the president of Alchemy Union? Song Tianqing suddenly said. Immersed in his wild joy, Long Fei abruptly woke up and coldly asked, "Are you blind?" Everyone recovered from the shock. They were all dumbstruck as they looked at Long Fei, whose head had been pierced, with disbelief in their hearts. Although Lu Yaohe was a pill cultivator, he was still a senior realm cultivator. Long Fei was killed in one move. This was too abnormal. Song Tianqing said solemnly, "Brat, you have publicly killed the Alchemy Union's president. I can assure you, you won't live for long." While they were talking, Song Tianqing angrily took large steps away. Just as he was about to leave the courtyard, Long Fei coldly said, "Wait." The corner of Song Tianqing's eyes shook, and he said, "What? Is there anything else you need?" Long Fei said, "You can't leave." Song Tianqing stared at Long Fei and said furiously, "You dog, you still want to stop me? Who do you think you are?" Long Fei said slightly, "If you want to leave, you can as well. Spit out the parasite from your pubes." As soon as he finished speaking, Song Tianqing's expression changed drastically. Wu Li, Qian Yin, and the dean of Donghuang College's expression were cold as they stared at Song Tianqing. Song Tianqing shouted, "I don't know what you're talking about. Principal, you know Lu Yaohe's background very well. If we cannot give the Lu family an explanation on today's matter, I'm afraid no one here will be able to live." Song Tianqing intentionally changed the topic. At the same time, he was also using Lu Yaohe's background to suppress the dean of Donghuang College. Lu Yaohe's strength was not strong. His alchemy was only mediocre. But he was still able to become the president of the East Imperial City not because of his strength, but because of his background. This was something that everyone knew. Wu Li's eyes flashed. The Lu family is an alchemy family, and there are many great elders in the Pill Alliance who are members of the Lu family. Now that Lu Yaohe is dead, I'm afraid, Song Tianqing said. He was the one who killed him. We saw him. We can hand him over. Long Fei did not give Song Tianqing a chance to change the topic and said, "I killed the person. If the Lu family is looking for trouble, just come find me. You won't be able to leave today. Either spit out the goo worm, or turn into me helping you spit out the goo worm." Song Tianqing shouted in fury, "Brat, I don't even know what you're talking about." Dean of Donghuang College slightly said, "Sky City, I think you should stay here for today." Although he did not know why Lu Yaohe had suddenly launched a sneak attack, but there must be a reason. Furthermore, Long Fei gave him a feeling that he would not do it carelessly. Song Tianqing's expression sank and said, "Headmaster, you believe him too? Good, good, good." Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes moved. He wants to escape. Sure enough, Song Tianqing's strength moved suddenly, and he leaped with all his might. It was just that, without waiting for him to fly up, a wave of pressure came crashing down on him. Song Tianqing was instantly crushed and fell to the ground. His face was flustered and exasperated as he stared straight at Long Fei, like a berserk beast. "Long Fei, this old man will not let you go." Long Fei grinned coldly and said, "With so many people not letting me go, who do you think you are?" It was extremely disdainful. He was just worrying that he couldn't find the Shao by mouse, and it just so happened that now. He didn't care who Song Tianqing was or who Lu Yaohe was. There was no one that he couldn't offend. Somewhere in the basement, Elder Hua, the goo worm in Lu Yaohe's body, has lost its continuity. "I'm afraid it is dead," an old man hurriedly reported. The secret room was filled with densely packed jars. From time to time, the cries and screams of children could be heard from each jar. Hua Hong's eyes opened slightly and said indifferently, "I understand. Once I finish refining this batch of goo worms, everyone below the emperor level will become immortal." Ahaha. Chapter 2889. Using your body to test for poison. Chapter 2889. Using your body to test for poison. Let me out, let me out. Principal, that kid doesn't know anything. He's just a muggle from a lower plane. Do you believe him? Principal, Lu Yaohe is dead. We can't hide this matter from us. If we don't hand him over, we won't have a good ending. Principal, Song Tiansheng was imprisoned. Dean of Donghuang College did not say anything. His heart was under enormous pressure. Not to mention Lu Yaohe's background. Just the Song family behind him was a noble of the East Imperial City. If the news of Song Tiansheng being locked up was leaked, the Song family would not let this matter go. It was imperative to develop a method to deal with the spirit-gathering pill as soon as possible. In the secret room, Dean of Donghuang College walked in and glanced at Qian Yan. Qian Yan immediately took out a space ring and said, "There are 50 spirit-gathering pills inside. If it's not enough, I can think of a way to buy them." Long Fei looked at Dean of Donghuang College, hesitating to speak. Dean of Donghuang College said, "Right now, don't say anything. I believe you. The fate of East Imperial City is in your hands." He did not say much. Since he had already done it, there was no point in saying anything else at this point in time. He could only choose to believe in Long Fei. But Dean of Donghuang College was not confident. Long Fei said heavily, "Thank you for your trust. I will definitely do my best." Dean of Donghuang College said, "It's not that I have to give it my all, it's that I have to succeed." Long Fei replied, "Yes. All right, just tell Qian Yan anything you need. He will provide you with everything." Dean of Donghuang College explained as he turned around and walked out of the secret room. Looking at the dark sky, two deep eyes flashed. "Kid, I hope I didn't believe in the wrong person. If this is a success." Dean of Donghuang College did not finish his words, but a trace of excitement flashed past his eyes. Donghuang College and the City Lord's Su family's influence had always been on par with each other. The Su family was one of the main families in the city, and the Donghuang College was the master of the young warriors. If Donghuang College succeeded in this matter, then the influence would crush the Su family. "It's up to you." The Dean of Donghuang College idea moved, sending a sound transmission. "Without my order, no one is allowed to enter this place. No one is allowed to leave." A voice rang out from the darkness. It was incomparably low and deep. "Yes." In the secret room, Long Fei took out a spirit-gathering pill and observed it carefully. Wu Li was also carefully observing and saying, "I can't see any evil at all." At the beginning, the spirit-gathering pill also passed the examination in our alchemy union. Nothing. Many pills had to be inspected by the alchemy union if they were to be sold on the market. Especially in the foreign trade union, the pills they provided were much stricter. Long Fei knew about this too, and asked, "Aren't you going to use people to test it? Was there nothing wrong with the test?" Wu Li shook his head and said, "No, at that time. It was personally tested by President Liu, and he himself took it." Lu Yaohe checked it personally? Long Fei was secretly shocked. Seems like the power behind the spirit-gathering pill is more than what I expected. To be able to be tested personally by the president of the Alchemy Union, one could imagine how extraordinary it was. While they were talking, Long Fei took out a surgical knife and gently broke open the pill. The liquid from the pill flowed out. It wasn't the fragrance of the spirit liquid, but a stench that assaulted the nostrils. It was like a dead mouse, extremely unpleasant to the nose. Fu Xishan immediately covered his nose. Wu Li also frowned. According to logic, the elixir should be the elixir. How could it be so smelly? Long Fei's expression did not change at all. His entire mind was focused on the liquid that was flowing out of the pill. He did not miss a single detail. No reason. Why aren't there any bugs? If it's a goo worm, then there should be a worm. Long Fei muttered to himself. He did not discover any worms moving about in the liquid. If it was only this stinky liquid, it would not prove anything. This world did not have advanced medical testing equipment, so it was impossible for them to test it. Even if it was stinky, it did not mean anything. And then, when Long Fei broke open another spirit-gathering pill, he still did not discover anything. How could this be? Could it be that the goo is not in the liquid, but in the pills? Long Fei slowly crushed the spirit-gathering pill, but he did not discover anything. Wu Li and Fu Xishan watched Long Fei from the side. Long Fei had completely entered into a state of selflessness. Long Fei did not manage to detect the existence of the goo worm after taking a few more studies on the pill. The system will not make any mistakes. There must be a goo worm inside the pill. But Long Fei frowned. Fu Xishan stepped forward and said gently, Long Fei, since the sky is already bright, why don't we rest and think about it? Long Fei shook his head and said, there isn't much time left. The people who took the spirit-gathering pill are like leeks. We don't know when they were harvested. If it erupted like Lu Yaohe, the East Imperial City would instantly become chaotic and become a dead city. Not a minute to waste. Huff! Long Fei's eyes twitched. He once again took out the spirit-concentrating pill and said, there is a god farmer to taste the grass. In order to save more people, I am not that noble, but I do not want to let those innocent people die. The dissecting pills were unable to find a solution. Then go and try it yourself. Picking up the pill, Long Fei directly placed in his mouth. Fu Xishan, Wu Li, and even the one with eyes closed, Qian Yin, all shook violently. Especially Fu Xishan, she said. Long Fei, you're courting death. Long Fei instantly sat cross-legged and used all his strength to sense and slowly refine the pill. As the pill entered his mouth, it quickly melted, and that foul-smelling liquid was also instantly released from the pill. Next, the stinky liquid seemed to have life of its own as it crazily rushed into Long Fei's pubes. Long Fei's pubes suddenly twitched. A sharp pain pierced through his body. Soon after, a dense web of things like spider webs covered the entire pubes, and at that moment, Long Fei seemed to be able to grasp the breath of true spirit of heaven and earth, and it crazily surged into his body. After being sucked into his body, the energy on the pubes began to greedily absorb, and gradually, with his body, he was able to transform and take form. Long Fei suddenly opened his eyes and quickly took out a spirit-concentrating pill. Breaking through it once again, he searched even more carefully, but still could not find anything. The rank of this evil pill refiner is very high, Long Fei said in a heavy voice. Seeing Long Fei speak, Fu Xishan immediately came up and said, Long Fei, are you all right? You clearly know that you can't consume the spirit-gathering pill, yet you swallowed it. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, don't worry. If he didn't do this, he had no idea how the goo was formed. Moreover, he didn't know how to think of a way to deal with it either. Now that the goo worm was taking shape in his pubes, Long Fei knew how it was formed and immediately said to Wu Li, President Wu, first decompose the spirit grass that refined this pill. Don't bother with the smelly spirit liquid. Wu Li immediately replied, understood. Huff! Long Fei let out a light breath. Absorbing breath of true spirit can allow it to grow quickly. All right, then I'll see what you can grow into. 1 million breath of true spirit. Release it for me. Open. Chapter 2890, True Spirit Pills. Chapter 2890, True Spirit Pills in the East Imperial City. The majority of the warriors who consumed spirit-gathering pills were at the spirit realm or below. This realm did not have much breath of true spirit and was also the best stage to break through to. It was unable to resist the stage that the goo worms were occupying the pubes. However, Long Fei was different. The number of breath of true spirit he possessed could be said to be more than the number of powerhouse S in the senior realm. The true spiritual value was accumulated limitlessly, and there were no limitations. His true spiritual value had now reached more than 8 million. A million was nothing to him. A million true spiritual value. Release. Open for me. Let me see what you can grow into. When Long Fei moved, his true spiritual value surged out crazily like a flood. As for the goo worm on his pubes, It was like a vampire that was hungry for tens of thousands of years, absorbing madly. Boom, boom, boom. As it crazily absorbed, its body, which was originally the size of an insect egg, crazily transformed as it continuously molted while it continued to grow bigger. The long tentacles on its body also continuously became larger, capturing the pubes S in its abdomen. Finally, to the size of a thumb. But it had not yet left the pubes and was still occupying it. Every time he transformed, Long Fei felt a bit of pain. It was as if every part of his body was being sucked dry of him, as if his entire being was being sucked dry of his yang energy by a fox spirit. 1,000,000 isn't enough? Then I'll give you another 5,000,000. Long Fei was like a madman. Open. Rumble. 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 After releasing 5,000,000 breath of true spirit S, that thumb-sized goo worm became even more excited, and once again madly devoured it, but its body did not grow any bigger. However, the color of its body had changed, from a milky white color to black, then from black to light blue, then to purple. After absorbing the 5,000,000 points of breath of true spirit, the parasite turned from purple to gold. It was also at this time. His body rolled over. All the tentacles began to shrink. The pubes calmed down, and the goo worm curled into a ball and slowly formed a cocoon. It laid there quietly and stuck firmly to the pubes. Long Fei's body seemed to have been hollowed out. It was very hard. Is this the final form of the goo worm? Not to kill. Long Fei was suspicious. Just absorbing the breath of true spirit? What's the use? Resurrection of a goo using a human as a host? It shouldn't be like this. It's too troublesome. Then why? Could it be? Is it for the breath of true spirit? In that instant, Long Fei's gaze suddenly tensed up, and his heart started to tremble. Every warrior's breath of true spirit was activated and absorbed. This was a type of cultivation process, and the obtained breath of true spirit was the result of this process. If he were to give thousands upon thousands of true spirit fruits to one person, then cold sweat dripped from his palms. Long Fei's eyes widened. At the same time, the idea moved, converted into normal practice mode. If it was the cultivation after absorbing the heaven and earth breath of true spirit, Long Fei let out a light sigh, and then his body suddenly trembled the moment the aura entered the pubes' body. He simply could not control it at all. He spat out a mouthful of black blood. The pubes has become a forbidden ground. It's impossible to enter. If you enter, it will be severely injured, and if you try to force it, it will result in your death. The pubes has changed owners. This is too terrifying. Long Fei's face changed. Fu Xishan and Wu Li immediately came up and asked, Long Fei, how are you? Long Fei endured the pain. Instead, he asked, under normal circumstances, how many general-level warriors do you have? Use the data to tell me. Wu Li said, if I were to use numbers as an alternative, then I would be able to increase the amount of true qi at the 9th level of the natal stage to between 100 and 150,000, depending on how everyone cultivates. What about it? 10 to 100,000? Long Fei's pupil shook. Even if it's 100,000 points, 100,000, East Imperial City has tens of millions of warriors who consume the spirit-gathering pellets. Then, what kind of number is that? Long Fei's mind sank. Too terrifying. Wu Li said, Long Fei, tell us exactly what is going on. Long Fei did not explain anything and asked, did you manage to analyze the spirit grass as for the spirit-gathering pill? Wu Li handed over a piece of paper and said, other than the stinky liquid, it was made by these spirit grass. The strange thing is that these spirit grass are all mild in nature, and their uses are not spirit gathering, but to protect something. Long Fei took a glance at it himself. As expected, you're right. But now, the crux of the problem is how to kill the goo worm in your body. If only I had the insect-killing equipment from my previous life. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes lit up. Pesticide from my previous life, huh? I'm truly a genius. Awesome, too cool, huh? What was the insecticide formula? Long Fei didn't know. But with a target, as long as he headed towards that target, it would be fine. Immediately, Long Fei opened the shopping mall of the system and looked around the omnipotent shopping mall system. Let me feel your magic. Ha F***CK. Big Bro System, you are invincible. Long Fei looked at an item in the system's merchant shop. Items: chrysanthemum brand fumigant function. Cigarette all vermin. Wild camp must prepare good medicine. Description: cheap price, sterilization, and deworming effect magical, chrysanthemum brand, you deserve to have. Won't it have a miraculous effect if I put the smoke into the pill? Long Fei became spirited and said, President Wu, I'm afraid that my body is unable to refine any pills. I'll leave it to you now. Wu Li said, What are you saying? If you have anything to refine, feel free to say it. Long Fei replied, Okay. Long Fei slightly modified the spirit grass that Wu Li analyzed earlier and added a few more wild chrysanthemums. He handed them to Fu Shishan and said, Go and purchase them. Add more chrysanthemums. Fu Shishan received the pill formula. Qian Yin immediately said, I'll go with you. Fu Shishan did not refuse as the two of them quickly left the secret room. At this moment, Long Fei sat cross-legged and muttered, Why can't others quickly level up after consuming spirit-gathering pills? The pubes' goo has already formed a true spirit fruit. If I use my flying sword to kill them, what kind of effect would it produce? Long Fei was eager to give it a try. However, he was afraid that something might happen. It was in his stomach after all. If he accidentally killed himself, it would be a tragedy. In another place, Elder Hua, good news. There's already a goo worm maturing into a core formation stage. Huahong opened his eyes and said, That fast. It was somewhat beyond his expectations. However, Huahong slightly said, Seems like it can make young master come early. Go and inform the young master that he can enter the East Imperial City tomorrow, and harvest will start in 3 days. Haha. Chapter 2891, Getting Started. Chapter 2891, Getting Started. I've broken through level 3. Haha. I am already at the 6th level of the genuine force. I almost broke through to the spiritual master stage. I have to say that the spirit gathering pill gave us hope. Thank you so much, spirit gathering pill. A pellet from an alchemy master of the gods tribe. How could it possibly be fake? Do you find your body a little unbearable? If you can't handle it, then just eat a few more spirit gathering pills. I can guarantee that you can break through faster. In the streets, in the tea houses and restaurants, old women and young girls, it could be said that everyone in the entire East Imperial City was talking about the spirit gathering pill. This small pill had brought an enormous sensation to the entire city. Happy that his son had broken through once again. Happy for her husband's breakthrough. He was happy for his father, for his brothers, and for his family's breakthrough. The amount invested into the spirit gathering pills did not decrease, but rather increased by a lot. The rule that was set previously was that each person would receive one, but in reality, that was just a small talk. Since there's no real name system, you can buy it here and in other places. If you buy it yourself, you can get your family to help you buy it. Thus, most of the time, martial artists that bought them all took several spirit gathering pills. One psionic condensing pill was completely different from 2 psionic condensing pills. The 2 goo will absorb your true soul more quickly, while at the same time, you'll create the illusion that you have a faster breakthrough. In fact, the breakthroughs brought by the spirit gathering pill are all forced to consume profound chi at the cost of your lifespan. It was not a real breakthrough. City Lord's Mansion, Su Clan. Master, I received it. I will be at East Imperial City in 2 days. 2 days, Su Wantu's eyes flashed with excitement. It seems that the Son of Heaven values this meeting a lot. Inwardly, he couldn't hide his joy. The arrival of the Son of Heaven was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him and the Su clan. Su Wanta asked, How are your preparations? The elders said, They are all ready, but as for young miss, Su Wanta said faintly, I will go and take care of the matters regarding the young miss. You will be in charge of taking care of the matters and show the strong side of our Su family. But you can't go overboard. Elder nodded. Understood. My lord, I'll go make the arrangements. Right. Sir, the martial artists in the city have been very crazy about the spirit-gathering pills these past 2 days. They have gone a little crazy. As soon as the pill pavilion selling spirit-gathering pills opens, a group of people would come to surround them. This seems a little strange. Do you want to? Suwanta did not wait for him to finish speaking and directly interrupted him. The thing you need to consider now is to receive young master, not the spirit-gathering pill. A pill caused a lot of commotion. Wasn't the Zhongling pills the same back then? All right, hurry up and prepare. Nothing was as important as welcoming the Son of Heaven. Although he was not in the God's tribe palace, the Son of Heaven was still in the descendant of God's tribe. As long as this road was properly paved, the Su family would be the hegemon for thousands of years. He was not listening to anything now. The elder immediately shivered. I will immediately go prepare it. Suwantu's face was filled with excitement as he looked into the distance. As long as we have a relationship with the God's tribe, then my Su family will definitely prosper forever, and no one will be able to move it. Ha ha ha! He started laughing excitedly. In another place, in the secret room. No way. Fail. It still won't work. Long Fei constantly checked the pills Wu Li refined every time, but none of them had met his requirements. Either the smoke from the inulin pesticide couldn't be covered, or the gentle power of the pill wasn't enough. This couldn't be blamed on Wu Li. After all, he had never refined such a pill before. The cocoon-shaped parasite on Long Fei's abdomen was still peacefully sleeping. He had a feeling that this cocoon formed from a true spirit pill would only be retrieved by people, and the moment his pubes was taken, it would be torn apart. There was no chance of survival. Thinking about tens of millions of East Imperial City warriors dying, Long Fei's heart sank. Again, Wu Li started refining once again. A few minutes later, hoo. Wu Li panted heavily. His entire body was drenched in sweat. His face was slightly pale as he said, I can't hold on. My pubes doesn't have breath of true spirit, and I don't have any physical strength left. After a day and night of concocting, a pill cultivator like Wu Li was simply unable to take it. He was an alchemist. The stamina of a pill refiner was completely different from that of a martial arts training. He had to grit his teeth to endure for an entire day and night. Not everyone was a freak like Long Fei. Fu Shishan walked over and said, How about I call those elders from the merchant union over? No way. Long Fei immediately rejected and said, The less people who know about this, the better. Right now, 2/3 of the East Imperial City's warriors have already taken spirit-gathering pills. Fu Shishan said solemnly, Isn't this person too vicious? Are you trying to destroy the entire East Imperial City? A mere East Imperial City was nothing in the eyes of the powerhouse. If it's ruined, it's ruined. No one would care. The universal realm was too big, too big. There were countless of cities like the East Imperial City, but no one would care if they were wiped out because this was the world of the powerhouse. Wu Li said, I really am not able to. Moreover, I have never refined such a pill before. If it's really no good, then let's make it public. Whether they believe it or not is up to them. Long Fei secretly furrowed his brows. Qianyan lightly said from the side, It's already too late. Now everyone seems to have gone mad, snatching for spirit-gathering pills crazily. Many people are willing to go bankrupt, selling their wives to sell girls to buy spirit-gathering pills. I didn't believe you at first, but now I do. Also, no one will believe you now, I feel. Dean of Donghuang College told me to tell you that you have to refine the antidote, or else East Imperial City would really be destroyed. Fu Shishan's eyes narrowed and said, Then what do we do now? Long Fei is heavily injured, and even Wu Li is out of energy, tens of millions of pills. How are you going to refine them? An alchemy master wouldn't be able to refine tens of millions of medicinal pellets in his entire life. Long Fei's heart sank. The development of the matter was more difficult than he had expected. However, Fu Shishan's words did remind him. Tens of millions of pills could not be produced in a short period of time. If he wanted to save the warriors in East Imperial City, He could not use normal pills. Huff! Long Fei let out a heavy breath. If tens of millions of pills cannot be refined, then let's just refine one, an incomparably huge pellet. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Fei's mind tensed up. The idea entered the pubes and muttered, "Killing sword. Live until the end. Don't let a bug occupy your territory." He was about to make a move. Chapter 2892. The fear in Su Wantu's heart. Chapter 2892. The fear in Su Wantu's heart. The goo coiled around, occupying the pubes. The true chi could not be activated. Long Fei's body was being suppressed. At first, Long Fei did not want to touch it. He wanted to keep it as a test using him. But now that he was too exhausted to use his alchemy, he could only take a risk. Oh, Long Fei let out a light breath as the idea moved. Wong. Asterisk, a sword hum rang out. Within his consciousness, the killing sword floated in the air. The cocoon like golden goo did not seem to be aware of the danger. Kill, he gave the order. Long Fei's heart was also tight. In that moment, he also activated Divine Dragon, transforming into Zero Blood Immortal. Crack! Squeak squeak. The killing sword stabbed down. The golden goo let out a squeak. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Golden Goo, for gaining 0 experience, obtaining 60,000 true spiritual value points, and 0 universal value. Rumble. As soon as the system announcement rang out, he completely recovered 6 million points of true spiritual value. In the instant that the Golden Goo died, its body slowly dissipated and finally completely disappeared. The pubes also resumed its circulation. It was just that. The killing sword slightly trembled. Long Fei could already clearly feel that his injuries were worsening. Besides dealing with the matter of the spirit-gathering pill, I have to fix the killing sword as soon as possible. Long Fei secretly said this was a strand of ancient inheritance. The longer this world dragged on, the weaker it would be. It was with great difficulty that he managed to obtain the ancient inheritance, so he was able to instantly kill all those below the emperor level. Woo! Long Fei spat out a pool of black blood, and then his complexion returned to a healthy shade of red, and his injuries were all healed as well. Qian Yin was secretly shocked. This brat. What did he just do? Why did it suddenly recover? Fu Xishan was also happy. Long Fei, are you done? Long Fei nodded and said, I'll be fine for now. Long Fei took out 10 Xingling pills and gave them to Wu Li, saying, quickly recover your true spirit. I still need your help later on. Wu Li looked at the Xingling pills. A glint flashed across his eyes, and he nodded, Amen. After consuming the pill, he sat down cross-legged and began meditating. Huff! Long Fei looked at the chaos in front of the pill furnace. Fu Xishan said, It's already too late. How about we forget about it? Fu Xishan was worried about Long Fei. Long Fei said, No matter what, I want to give it a try. After all, this is related to the lives of everyone in the city. And at this critical moment, no matter what happens I am afraid that they will not be able to stop the attacks of the western regions. Qian Yin was startled and said, Ancient monster. Long Fei said, That's right. I had originally wanted to talk to the city lord about this matter. It's just that. Long Fei smiled and did not continue. Qian Yin said as her gaze tightened, It has always been wormholes, ice plains, Night Valley S, and also the Ghost Cave. Why would there be western regions' ancient monster here this year? Is the news correct? Long Fei nodded and said, There shouldn't be any mistake with the news from the Night Valley. Qian Yin immediately said, You guys go ahead. I'll go report to the principal. If it really is an ancient monster, then East Imperial City is in danger. Qian Yin was very nervous. He was extremely afraid of the ancient monster. Long Fei did not think too much about it. His focus right now was on how to concoct the pills to suppress the spirit-gathering pill. An idea came to his mind, but before that idea could be realized, he had to concoct a small-scale pill. Bring it on. Long Fei moved, and without any hesitation, he immediately activated the ancient alchemy technique. The ancient alchemy technique's chant also slowly recited in his heart as it began to circulate. A ray of ancient power faintly moved. It covered his entire body. At the same time, he entered the realm of one with the world. A faint glow appeared on his chest. It was not too intense, but the naked eye could see that this was fluorescence of God's tribe's curse mark. It was just that Fu Shishan did not pay attention to all of this. Wu Li was also wholeheartedly thinking about recovering his true soul, so he did not look at Long Fei. Ding! Refinery failure. Ding! Fusion failed. Ding! Fail! Failure! 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 Continuously failing. In his previous life, he had advanced medical equipment. A small pill could kill bugs, but this was a foreign world. It was extremely difficult to make such a pill. Again, I don't believe it. Pills, spirit gathering pill. Quick, quick, give me the spirit gathering pill. I want the spirit gathering pill. Give me the pill. Give me the spirit gathering pill. I'm willing to offer 10,000 grand Miss crystals. I bid 100,000. Child, my child is gone. Has anyone seen my child? Woo-woo. East Imperial City was already in chaos. Moreover, the shop that sold the spirit-gathering pills had already closed for the next 2 days. However, the front of the shop was completely surrounded by people. All of them were like sick people, skinny like firewood, black eyes, and weak bodies. They were waiting for the spirit pill. At this moment, their pubes were densely covered in goo worms, and they were still devouring their profound chi and the breath of true spirit in their limbs and bones. Lord, the situation is getting worse and worse. City Lord's mansion, Su Clan. The Su Clan was decorated with lanterns and decorations, preparing to welcome the arrival of the Son of Heaven. However, Su Wanda was currently frowning deeply. Why is it like this? Hadn't Alchemy Union tested for spirit-gathering pills before? Why is this happening? The old man shook his head. I don't know. The Alchemy Union's president, Liu Yaohe, is about to disappear. What exactly is inside the spirit-gathering pill? Suwana asked again. The old man said, I don't know. It's just that the medicinal pellets have a foul-smelling liquid, but it doesn't have any special material injuries. Our alchemy masters are too low, so we can't find any reason. Where are the shops that sell these spirit-gathering pills? They're all gone. It's as if they all disappeared in one night. Master, out of the hundreds of clans in East Imperial City and our Su family, many disciples consumed spirit-gathering pills. Furthermore, many disciples could not take it anymore. Tens of millions of warriors had all taken it. The Su family's disciples were no exception. Su Wantu's gaze tensed up. The elder continued. In addition, many children have been lost during this period of time. There are already several hundred of them. Su Wantu clenched his fists and said, Such a huge thing happened. What about Dongwon College? What's the reaction? The old man looked at Su Wantu, but didn't dare say anything. Su Wantu shouted, Speak. The old man said, None of the students of Dongwon College took a spirit-gathering pill. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Wantu's gaze tensed up. What? Not a single one. The old man said, Not a single one. It was personally ordered by Dean of Donghuan College. All students who consume spirit-gathering pills are expelled. As long as they are students of Donghuan College, they do not take spirit-gathering pills. Su Wantu's body slightly trembled, as he had a bad premonition in his heart. Chapter 2893, Godchild has arrived. Chapter 2893, Godchild has arrived. Su Wantu did not believe it. He knew quite a lot about the mystical effects of the spirit-gathering pills. If he was a young martial artist, he would still take them for the sake of avoiding detours. However, the students of the Dongwon College actually did not take any spirit-gathering pills. Although the students of the Dongwon College were all from great clans, and the Su family also had a lot of disciples who were cultivating in the Dongwon College, but Su Wantu was still puzzled in his heart. Could it be that Dean of Donghuan College already knew? Or could it be that this was all part of his scheme? That's not right. Even though Dean of Donghuan College is an old fox, he would definitely not take the life of the East Imperial City as a joke at this critical juncture of winter. Seeing the frown on great Su Wantu's forehead, the old man said, Master, There was a disciple at the Zhu family who said that he was told not to take the spirit-gathering pill. Su Wantu's gaze darkened and asked, "Who said it?" The old man said, "It's Long Fei." "Dragon, Long Fei." Su Wantu's pupils abruptly tightened, instantly reminding him of what Long Fei had said. He originally thought it was only a sentence filled with youthful vigor. Originally, he thought Long Fei had come to curry favor with his daughter. She thought Long Fei was just a toad that wanted to eat swan meat. However, at this moment, Su Wantu's heart tightened. A mere brat from the lower realms. No matter how capable he is, it's impossible for him to know that the spirit-gathering pill is harmful. The Su family's alchemy master was also at the 6th level. Even a level 6 alchemy master could not discover any harm. How could Long Fei know? Su Wan asked again, "Where's Long Fei now?" The old man paused for a few seconds. Su Wan said impatiently, "Speak." The old man said, "After he left the Su family, he was called away by Dean of Donghuan College. That night, along with him was Business Alliance of Fu Family's Fu Shishan, Donghuan College's great instructor Song Tianqing, Alchemy Union's president Liu Yaohe, and Vice President Wu Li. Giggle." Su Wan clenched his fists tightly, and his knuckles cracked. The aura emanating from his body was exceptionally oppressive. The old man's face was slightly pale from being forced. He spoke with some difficulty. "It seems like the last time Long Fei came to the Su family was about the matter of the spirit-gathering pills. Lord, we seem to—" Su Wantu's pupils constricted as he said solemnly, "Go and investigate the location of these spirit-gathering pills and find out where Long Fei and the rest are." This was no trivial matter. Once something big happened, if the Su clan didn't do anything, then the city lord's position would probably be lost. Su Wantu was too conceited in his life. Long Fei didn't think much of it. Because of Long Fei's identity, if he was allowed to choose again, he would still not choose Long Fei. Even now, Su Wantu did not regret his choice back then. No matter how much a country bumpkin jumped and changed, he was still a country bumpkin. He would never be able to show his face. How could his daughter marry such a man? With a heavy voice, the elder said, "I'll do it right away." "Brat, you think you can beat me like this? Let me wait for you for 3 days. How can you be worthy of a mere kid from the lower realms?" Su Wan slightly narrowed his eyes and said coldly, "When the Son of Heaven arrives, the marriage will be set. It can be said that our Su family's position as the overlord of the East Imperial City will never be extinguished." Another day and night passed. Long Fei did not stop for a second as he continued the crazed refining. It was constantly changing, adjusting. His eyes were completely bloodshot, and his body was already severely exhausted. One must know that he did not rest at all during the time of Wu Li's alchemy, nor did he rest for 3 days and 3 nights. General-level warriors could not withstand it at all. Long Fei did not dare to rest. He knew that he was running out of time. "Although I am not a good person, but if I can save a person, then I will save a person." Long Fei thought and shouted once again, "Ancient alchemy technique. Fuse. Ding. System prompt. Fusion successful." As soon as the system announcement rang out, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a bright light, and he said excitedly, "I finally succeeded." "Ha!" He looked at the warm pill in his hand. The pill had been infused with insecticide. Although the fusion was a success, but its effect? Fu Shishan had always been by Long Fei's side. Seeing that Long Fei had succeeded, she finally heaved a sigh of relief. Wu Li also woke up and rushed forward. "What about now?" Long Fei said, "Now, I just need a test article." Wu Li asked, "Song Tianqing?" Long Fei grinned. "It's him." When the few of them reached the underground room, Song Tianqing sat cross-legged. In these 3 days, he was as thin as a stick, as though he had collapsed. His eyes sunk. The more he cultivated, the faster the breath of true spirit in his body would be absorbed by the goo. Hearing that voice, Song Tianqing's eyes opened, looked at Long Fei, and immediately said, "You still dare to come? Release me immediately, or else I will take your life." With sinister eyes, he stared straight at Long Fei. "You've turned into this ghost in just 3 days?" Long Fei was secretly shocked. He had never left this place, He did not even know what was going on outside. However, seeing that Song Tianqing had become like this, Long Fei was a little unsure. If even the powerhouse of the senior realm could not control it, then what would happen to those warriors of the general level? Fu Xishan and Wu Li were also secretly shocked. Humph! Song Tianqing heavily shouted and said, "Brat, this is not yet all thanks to you. You better hurry up and let me out. If I die here, none of you will be able to live." Long Fei grinned and said, "If you want me to let you out, that's fine too. After swallowing this pellet, I'll let you go." Song Tianqing's gaze darkened. "You want to poison this old man to death?" Long Fei said, "That's right, I want to poison you to death. Do you want to be trapped here to die, or do you want to die from poison? I'll give you 3 seconds to choose." Just as he finished speaking, Long Fei suddenly said, "3, it's time. You want to be trapped here? All right, let's go." With that, Long Fei turned and left. "Wait." Song Tianqing stared at Long Fei and said, "How would I know if you would lie to me?" Long Fei laughed. "Do you have a choice?" Song Tianqing really wanted to cut Long Fei into 1,000 pieces. He gnashed his teeth and said, "All right, I'll take it." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "That's strange." After handing over the pellet, Song Tianqing swallowed it down and said, "Can you open the door now?" Long Fei shrugged his shoulders. "Sorry, I don't have a key. The key is with the principal. Only the principal can let you out." "You, Long Fei, you will die a horrible death." Song Tianqing was flustered and exasperated. Long Fei said, "People who hate me are always like that, but your father's life is more nourishing than anyone else's." While talking, Long Fei's eyes were fixed on Song Tianqing's pubes's abdomen. It was also at this time. Song Tianqing's eyes suddenly stared wide, his hands covering his throat, struggling on the ground. You, what did you feed me? You? It was incomparably painful. Covering his stomach, he spasmed in frenzy. In the end, he felt his throat churn as he spat out a mouthful of black blood. Long Fei smirked, done. At the same time, a guard hurriedly reported, "My lord, he's here. The godchild is here." Chapter 2894. Send me my room at night. Chapter 2894. Send me my room at night. It's a success. When Long Fei saw Song Tianqing spitting out a pool of black and smelly blood, his heart was finally at ease. He felt as if he was shouldering a heavy burden. This concerned the lives of tens of millions of warriors. Without these millions of warriors, perhaps the East Imperial City would have become a dead city in the dead of winter. Wooly could not hold back his excitement. "It's broken, it's broken, it's really broken." The way he looked at Long Fei had completely changed. His eyes were filled with reverence and respect. They were both alchemy masters. Wu Li was the clearest what he needed to refine this pellet for it to be possible. If he was unable to do so, he probably wouldn't be able to do so even if he was given another month's time. However, in a day and night, Long Fei succeeded in refining it without any rest. Even if he was exhausted of all his strength and lacking in spirit and energy, Long Fei could only grit his teeth and endure. Rather than saying that his talent was good, it would be more accurate to say that he had to work harder than anyone else. As persistence was what Wu Li admired the most in his heart. Perhaps, what I lack is hard work. Recognize your shortcomings. These 3 days had been an unprecedented opportunity for him. It was a very large increase. Fu Xishan said, "Right now I can only refine 1. Outside there are tens of millions of warriors that need pills. What do I do? There's no way we'll be able to make it in time." Wu Li also followed. "Brother Long, if you say there's anything I can do, I will definitely do my best." Right now, he sincerely admired Long Fei. Just an alchemy genius. Even in Wu Li's heart, Zhongling pills were also refined by Long Fei. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, and he smiled. "I need a large number of spirit grass. I need as many as I can get, and the more the better." The number of spirit grass left in the basement were already in a pile, but it was still far from enough. Fu Xishan said anxiously, "It's useless to not be able to refine so many spirit grass." Long Fei revealed a confident smile and said, Relax, with me here, anything is possible. Wu Li completely believed in Long Fei and said immediately, I will go to Alchemy Union and have them send all of Alchemy Union's spirit grass here. Fu Shishan also said, all right, I will go collect the spirit grass again. Long Fei said, go and come back quickly. Raise as much as you can. Yes. The two of them quickly left the basement. Song Tianqing slowly recovered his strength and shouted, let me out, quickly let me out, let me out. Long Fei gave a bland smile as he took out another pellet and said, it's fine if I let you out, but swallow this pellet. Song Tianqing's eyes opened wide and immediately scolded, do you think I'm F** King stupid? You want to lie to me? Long Fei said, you know very well in your heart that if not for that medicinal pellet just now, you would not have lived past a month. What I want to say is, you still have goo worm eggs left in your body. If you don't clean them out, you won't live past a month as well. I'm doing it for your own good. It's up to you whether you want to eat or not. Finished. Long Fei immediately threw the pill into the prison and turned to leave. Song Tianqing watched Long Fei walk out of the prison and immediately picked up the pellet on the ground. He didn't think too much about it and directly swallowed it with a gulping sound. However, half a second later, Song Tianqing's face immediately turned the color of pig liver, and her body couldn't help but tremble as the corners of her mouth quivered. Gather, gather, gather spirit pill. Again, gather spirit pill. Long Fei, I will kill you. Ah, indeed. What Long Fei had given him was precisely a spirit-gathering pill. He still had to experiment once more. How could Song Tianqing let go of Song Tianqing's mouse that easily? It doesn't exist. Hearing Song Tianqing's loud roar, Long Fei smiled in his heart and muttered, are you mocking this, Daddy? Damn you, the old man won't be able to toy with you right now. He walked back to the alchemy room. Long Fei began to develop it again. He was like a mad demon again. The East Imperial City was in chaos. Tens of millions of warriors were roaming the streets like zombies. All of them were as thin as firewood. Their vision went dark. They hadn't rested since they swallowed the spirit-gathering pill. The goo worms did not allow them to rest at all, and their limbs and meridians had their true essence sucked away, being crazily absorbed by the goo worm. Many martial artists had already begun to form cocoons within their bodies. On the streets, all those shops selling psionic condensing pills were smashed into smithereens. The people inside were long gone. Not a single shadow could be seen. It was as if they had disappeared from the East Imperial City. On the walls of the East Imperial City, Suwana looked at the warriors wandering around in the city. His eyebrows secretly tightened, his fists tightened, his eyes filled with dense, killing intent. He was the mayor. This was his city. Even if it was the monsters outside the city, he definitely wouldn't be honored to destroy his city. But he couldn't stop it. There was nothing he could do right now. There was nothing he could do. His heart ached. He was hating. Suwana said solemnly, don't let me find you, otherwise I will tear you into 10,000 pieces. At this time, behind Suwantu, a young man dressed in silk clothes with an eye-catching symbol embroidered on his chest, which could be seen from more than 10 meters away. The symbol of the God's tribe. The man had a faint smile on his face. He took a step forward, looked at those warriors wandering around the city like living dead, and said coldly, the heavens are fair. There are no shortcuts on the path of martial arts. They are the ones who are greedy, and they chose the path themselves. Since they chose it, then they have to bear it. Indifference. The faint smile on his face carried a trace of pride. The look in his eyes was contemptuous. Suwana said, you're right, but there are still tens of millions of lives after all. Since we chose the wrong one, does that mean we won't have a chance to change it? The man smiled and said, wrong. You've lost the chance to improve yourself. Suwana turned his face to the man and said, young noble, you are the descendant of God's tribe. Do you have no choice? The man was the son of heaven. They were called Godchild. Godchild said coldly, yes. Suwantu's eyes flashed with a hint of excitement and said, what method? If you can save the East Imperial City's warriors, then the people from the east of the East Imperial City will remember you and help you erect the longevity monument. Not waiting for him to finish, Godchild interrupted him and said, "Purify wash." Suwantu's pupils tightened and his heart sank. Godchild smiled faintly. These greedy villains should not exist in this world. Death is the best choice for them. Easily stated. In his eyes, tens of millions of lives were worse than a dog. Suwantu said, "Is there any other way? The cold winter is approaching. If you do not have these warriors to guard the East Imperial City, then the East Imperial City will definitely not be able to hold on through this year's cold winter." This was his city. He wanted to save these people. He thought that the Godchild could help him, but it was actually this sort of method. If he killed all these people, then his Su family would be the center of the East Imperial City. Godchild looked at Suwantu and said, "City Lord Su, your daughter is not bad. She suits my taste, and if you make her obediently serve me, I will make your Su family stay in East Imperial City for 1,000 years and become a king for all of eternity. Send her to my room tonight." Chapter 2895, Suwantu's Choice. Chapter 2895, Suwantu's Choice. Suwantu frowned. "Ha ha!" Godchild laughed at the sky, saying, "City Lord Su, you are a smart person. I know very well what you want. Think about it." Finished. Then he left. A cold wind blew in from outside the city, bringing with it snowflakes and a bone-chilling wind. Winter came. It had already begun snowing within the 10 kilometers of East Imperial City. The winter came earlier than usual this year. Suwantu stood amidst the cold wind, and his robes fluttered uncontrollably. He could not feel the cold because his body was filled with rage. He stared in the direction that the Godchild had disappeared in, and his eyes narrowed slightly. The killing intent was dense. However, a few minutes later, the killing intent in his eyes gradually disappeared, and finally, not at all. He secretly heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. For the Su family, I, Su, can only let you down. He took out a space ring from his bosom. This space ring was something that Long Fei asked the person to pass on to Su, but it was in his hands now. Suwantu's eyes moved slightly. In that instant, his figure disappeared. City Lord's mansion, an old man rushed into Suwantu's study and reported softly, "Master, I found it." Suwantu put down the official documents, looked up, and said, "Have you made it to a place?" The old man nodded his head. "I found it. It's in the courtyard of Dean of Donghuang College. Business Alliance of Fu Family and Alchemy Union are collecting spirit grasses. They should be refining pills to deal with the spirit gathering pellets." As expected, Suwantu's body started to emit a dense qi. He was extremely displeased in his heart. "Dean of Donghuang College, you old fox. And Long Fei, you think you can pull me down just like that?" Suwantu said in a deep voice. His expression was ugly. He did not see Long Fei last time. He knew clearly in his heart that Long Fei had come to find him regarding the spirit-gathering pill, but he did not regret it. The old man said, "Master, now that tens of millions of warriors in the city have been poisoned by the spirit-gathering pill, if Long Fei is truly able to create the antidote, then the influence of the Donghuang College will directly surpass our Su family." The Su family and the Donghuang College were always in balance. However, if Donghuang College saved East Imperial City in this matter, then the balance would be broken and the Su family would lose their power. This was something that Suwantu would never allow to happen. Suwantu coldly snorted and said, "So what if you overshadowed the Su family? As long as we have the God's tribe as our backing, even the heavens would have to give way." He had wanted to sacrifice Su to begin with. Now, he had no choice at all. Suwantu said, "I, Suwantu, have won all my life and have never lost. This time, I won't lose. Go check again. I want to know if Long Fei has really created an antidote." "Humph, you want me to wait for you for 3 days? Brat, you overestimate yourself. In addition, send people to keep an eye on Lon Mei and Business Alliance of Fu Family." Suwantu's personality was unstoppable. Even if he was wrong, he would be completely wrong. Because he was Suwantu, He is the East Imperial City's city lord. Huh. Big brother Longfei, where are you? Why didn't you come to see me? Su dragged his cheek, looked up at the sky, and his eyes were filled with longing. She didn't know why. Once, she had fallen for Lung Feng and thought that she liked him. However, after getting to know Long Fei, she realized that what she had before was not like, but a type of infatuated expression. She was completely different from Long Fei, and her heart was always thinking of him. All the time. This was love, this was love. Big brother Long Fei, I missed you so much. Su muttered to himself. He didn't know when. Su stood behind her and said, You miss him. He doesn't miss you. Otherwise, how could he not come and see you after such a long time? Back then in the Night Valley, if it wasn't for you pleading for me, I wouldn't have let him off at all. Su shook as he turned around and said, Daddy, let me out. I'll go find Big Brother Long Fei. Su let out a long sigh and spoke with a sincere heart. Su, don't tell me you still don't understand. Daddy didn't allow you to leave not because I want to imprison you, but because I want to see what Long Fei is going to do to you. If he returns to the East Imperial City from the Night Valley, would he be able to survive without my protection? I've been giving him a chance, wanting him to come to you, but what? Have he ever come here before after all these days? You keep thinking about her, but he didn't take you seriously. He's always with Lan Mei and Fu Shishan, and if he really cares about you, then he wouldn't come looking for you? Child, don't be silly. Father is someone who's experienced. He doesn't like you at all. Su stared at Su. Su's tears were about to flow out. No, Big Brother Long Fei is not that kind of person. He definitely has me in his heart. Su said, You are too young and don't understand men at all. Moreover, for a person like Long Fei who comes from the lower realms, the reason why he approached you is also to make use of you. Su grabbed Suwanta's arm and said, Father, did you let me out so easily? Let me out, I'll go find him. Suwantu's eyes darkened and became slightly angry. Don't tell me you still don't understand. Do you have to do this to yourself? Go and find him humbly? You are my Suwantu's daughter, and you are willing to lower yourself to me, but I am not willing to. Woo. Su immediately burst into tears. He was crying until he burst into tears, and even said, That won't happen. Long Fei would not be like this. He must be busy with some urgent matter. Woo. Suwana looked at his daughter, who was crying her heart out. Long Fei, you piece of trash. Suwana squatted down, took out a space ring from his bosom, and said, Su, this godchild knows that you are unhappy, so he asked me to bring you a special gift. It's something that only exists in the God's Tribe Palace. You must like it, let alone Su. It could be said that any girl would like him. Suwanta was not a woman, but he understood women. No woman could resist such a beautiful outfit. After passing the space ring over, Suwana said, Open it and take a look. Godchild has spent a lot of effort to get this gift. Although Su was unwilling, the idea still moved. Seeing the cute elven battle uniform amongst the space ring, her gaze was instantly attracted, and her tears stopped. She said, dumbfoundedly, It's so beautiful. Suwanta was overjoyed and said, This was made by the clothes maker of the God's Tribe. You must be very beautiful when you wear it. Godchild, I would like to treat you to a meal tonight. Let's get to know each other formally. Su shook his head. I don't like him. In my heart, there's only Big Brother Long Fei. Suwana frowned. Can you have some of the Su family's backbone? He doesn't even want you, and you still shamelessly like him? I just wanted to accompany Godchild for a meal. Just treat it as giving Daddy some face. As long as you go, I'll definitely let you out tomorrow. Su's eyes lit up, took a deep breath in, and said, All right. The hatred in Suwantu's heart for Long Fei increased yet again. Chapter 2896, Immense Huge Pellets. Chapter 2896, Immense Huge Pellets. Young Master, the leeks are almost grown enough. We can harvest them now. In an underground room, wearing a purple robe, Huahong revealed his yellow teeth. His eyes revealed evil intentions, and the corner of his mouth revealed a proud smile. No rush. Wait till I get the daughter of the mayor. I heard that last time Violet Gold Godgar Commander Tian Wu died near East Imperial City. He had a bit of ancient inheritance power on him. If I could get it, then maybe I could become a new Violet Gold Godgar Commander. Godchild laughed sinisterly. His main purpose for coming to East Imperial City was that ancient inheritance. The strongest power of the universal realm was the power of the ancient inheritance. Even though there were still some gods tribe S and Bloodvein in the Son of Heaven, but he was the type of descendant of God tribe that could only be trained with 8 pillars, and no matter how overflowing the ancient inheritance was, it was not his turn to cultivate. Thus, there was nothing more alluring to him than the power of the ancient inheritance. Huahong's eyes lit up. How do I find the power of the ancient inheritance? The corner of the Son of Heaven's mouth curled up as he said coldly, as long as it's in the East Imperial City, we can find it. It's not on those warriors who consume the spirit-gathering pill. It's on those who are still alive. It's definitely in this city. Huahong's eyes lit up, and he said in excitement, East Imperial City has a population of hundreds of millions. Seems like my evil pill art can be leveled up again. Huahong followed Tian Zi the entire time. Huahong was very clear about his style and his heart. As long as he made a move, the East Imperial City would become a dead city. Right? Young master, there's something I need to tell you. The first evil powder formed from the spirit-gathering pill is out of control the next day. I wonder what happened. Huahong felt that this matter should still be mentioned. The Son of Heaven didn't take it seriously and said, It's just one. Don't worry about it. There are tens of millions of warriors in the city. After I devour all the evil powder in their bodies, it'll be enough for me to cultivate for another year. My cultivation will definitely break through to the 6th level of the Emperor realm. Cultivation? It was too time-consuming. The Son of Heaven didn't want to spend so much time on his training. The process of devouring others was an ancient technique, and as long as he could master this technique, his training would be much easier. Huahong snickered. Godchild also laughed coldly. All right, you guys continue preparing. I'll go take a trip to the Su family. Huahong nodded and said, Understood. In the research lab, Song Tianqing's face paled as he once again swallowed a spirit-gathering pill. His pubes was almost instantly seized, and the true essence within his 4 limbs and 100 bones were crazily sucked away. He couldn't control it at all. He directly knelt in front of Long Fei and said, Long Fei, I am in the wrong. I apologize to you. I shouldn't have said that to you, and I shouldn't have laughed at you. He deserved Lu Yao's death, and I will definitely not tell others. I beg you, give me the antidote, I beg you. He was truly afraid. It was not because he was afraid of Long Fei, but that the insect in his body would suck him out. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Aren't I here? Song Tianqing's face lit up and said, Thank you, thank you. Long Fei took out a pellet that he had just refined. He had made a lot of improvements, but he did not know the exact effects yet. Song Tianqing's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the pill. Give it to me, give it to me. Long Fei laughed. With a light squeeze of his fingers, white smoke floated out from the pill and was immediately thrown outside the door. Song Tianqing's eyes darkened. No, no, Long Fei, you cannot do this. You cannot treat me like this. You will die a horrible death. Exceptionally agitated and furious, Long Fei did not leave, but chose to carefully observe every single one of Song Tianqing's actions. In his heart, he was secretly worried if this pellet did not have any effect, then he could only refine them one by one. If the number of people that can be saved does not exceed 1,000, no matter what you do, Long Fei will try his best to save them. Long Fei, I beg of you, please save me. Long Fei, you will die a miserable death. Long Fei, I will kill you. Long Fei. He was shouting nonstop. Long Fei was indifferent. He had been looking at this Xiao by mouse the entire time. 3 minutes later, Song Tianqing's expression suddenly changed. His eyeballs were about to explode. With a wah sound, he spat out a large mouthful of stinky black blood, and his entire body relaxed, as though he had put down a heavy burden. The corner of Long Fei's mouth quirked upwards. He was secretly excited as he said, Success! He immediately walked out. Song Tianxing also reacted and said loudly, "Let me out, let me out. Add the spirit grass. Add it. More. Not enough, not enough. Still not enough. I need more." Long Fei kept urging them, and Fu Xishan and Wu Li frantically gave out all kinds of spirit grasses. Long Fei was still all right. Fu Xishan and Wu Li were both sweating profusely. Especially Wu Li. He stared at the floating spirit liquid on Long Fei's palm. He felt as though he had heard a fantasy, and his entire being was stupefied. How can there be an alchemy technique that doesn't use an alchemy furnace? How did you refine it? Too strong. It's really too strong. If it wasn't for the fact that it was inappropriate for Long Fei to disturb him at alchemy, he really would have kneeled down and taken Long Fei as his master. The shock that Long Fei gave him was getting bigger and bigger. Continue. Faster. Continue. Long Fei was still urging them to hurry up. At this moment, in his palm, there was an incomparably large spirit liquid whirlpool that was like a small house. It was an incomparably huge medicinal pill, an unprecedented one. The true soul in his palm continued to burn. This was only something Long Fei could handle with more than 8 million true chi points. Otherwise, no one would be able to withstand it. Everyone in the room was dumbfounded. Was this called alchemy? This was a miracle. This pill was about to go up in the sky. Qianyan was also dumbstruck. Dean of Donghuang College, who was standing quietly at the door, had a stupefied expression on his face. The shock he felt in his heart was too intense. Now I know why Mu clan is looking for him. If he is a member of my clan, I will find him at all costs. Genius, no, genius is not enough to describe him. Demon level, super demon level genius. This year's factory sect test is about to give my Donghuang College a chance. Even if I can't compare with his martial art training, but in terms of alchemy, I can definitely get a placing, huh? The value of the death free order was too high. Dean of Donghuang College was ecstatic, as if he had picked up a treasure. In another place, under Su Wantu's insistence, Su changed into the elf armor. He looked cute and mischievous, and every inch of his skin was emitting a tempting aura that could cause others to stare. At least, the moment the Son of Heaven saw Su, he was stunned. "Beautiful. She's too beautiful," Su Wana said. Su, accompany the Son of Heaven well. I'll go get busy." Chapter 2897. The Explosion of Elf Armor. Chapter 2897. The Explosion of Elf Armor. I've long heard that Miss Su is the #1 beauty of East Imperial City. Seeing her today, her reputation is well-deserved. Let alone East Imperial City, even in the entire Western regions, there hasn't been a woman as beautiful as you. The Son of Heaven did not hesitate to praise. What he said was also the truth. He was now completely captivated by Su. He had seen countless beauties, and it could be said that the ones that entered his eyes were as rare as phoenix feathers or unicorn horns. The person that could make him praise them like this, Su, was the first. Of course, this was because of the elven battle uniform. Makes Su beautiful. It was to show off her playfulness and cuteness. The moment she put on the elf armor, even she was stunned. How could there be such beautiful clothes in this world? It was completely tailored for him. She did not believe that this was a gift from the godchild, because after putting on the elf armor, she felt a very familiar aura which made her heart warm. At the same time, she couldn't help but think of a man for herself, Long Fei. Her instincts told her that this set of clothes was made by Long Fei. However, she could not guarantee because her father said that Long Fei had never come to the Su Palace to look for her. Su slightly said, "Thank you, Xianzai. The 10 great beauties of the East Imperial City are much prettier than me." The Son of Heaven said, "I've seen everything except for the blue demoness. She is incomparable to you. Also, they're not as holy as you." Su's eyes turned cold. No matter how ignorant she was, she knew what the words holy meant and changed the topic. "Thank you for the godchild's gift. However, I'm really sorry. I will return this to you tomorrow." As he spoke, Su got up to leave. Godchild's face was displeased, the corners of his mouth slightly hooked up as he said indifferently, "Miss Sue, you left so soon? You didn't even drink with me." While they were talking, Godchild raised his wine cup and gave it to Sue. "I'll let you leave after drinking this cup of wine." There was lust on his face. Anger was building up in his heart, and he felt very, very unhappy because no woman had ever dared to refuse him. He had always been the one tired of playing, and no woman had ever rejected him. Who is he? He was someone who possessed the god's tribe's blood vein. If it wasn't for Sue shocking him and making him not want to hurt her, he would have slapped her right away. Sue took the cup and said, "Once I finish drinking, will I be able to leave?" Godchild said, "I will keep my word. You can leave after drinking." Sue did not hesitate, downed the wine in one gulp, put down the cup, and turned around to leave. Godchild did not urge him to stay. Instead, he smiled obscenely at Sue's back and muttered some numbers. 1, 2, 3. Fall down. Plop. Sue's body sank slightly. His legs went soft. He staggered and fell on the ground. His head was dizzy, as though he was being pressured by some kind of power, and he felt very uncomfortable. "What did you give me to drink?" "Ha ha." The godchild leisurely walked up and said, "How can a woman that my son of heaven has his eyes on escape?" Walking to Sue's side, he noticed Sue's exposed white thighs. His eyes revealed a lustful look and said, "Third stage of bewitching powder. How about it? It's great, isn't it?" Sue had a splitting headache and said, You dare treat me like this. This is the Sue family." "Ha ha. So what if it's the Sue clan? The entire universal realm is my god's tribe. What can a small Sue family do?" "Also," Godchild sneered, "your father gave you to me. You still don't know?" Sue's body trembled as he said, No, it's not like that. My father would never do that. He wouldn't." Godchild's gaze dropped as he looked at Sue's chest through the cracks in his clothes. His Adam's apple rolled as he lifted his wine cup and gulped it all down, his body looking as though it was on fire. "Little beauty, come on." "Ha ha." While speaking, Godchild was about to hug Sue. Sue's idea moved and said solemnly, "Big brother Long Fei, save me, save me." Bam! A loud sound echoed out. Godchild's body suddenly retreated. Both his hands had become numb from the impact. With a long drag of his feet, several thick bluestone floors had already shattered. The space between Godchild's eyebrows tightened. "A spirit treasure for protection? Humph! I would like to see just what kind of soul treasure can protect you." In an instant, Godchild channeled the power in his hands. Wong. 2 muffled booms rang out in the air. He rushed to Sue's side and fiercely grabbed downwards with both hands. Boom! Boom! The elf armor formed into a halo of light, directly blocking the powerful hands of the Son of Heaven, and it was difficult for it to advance even a little bit. Azure Dragon Defense. The automatic defense system on the elf armor activated. It was a bit different from the Phoenix Cloth. Its defense was one that was extremely strong in a short period of time, but it could not last for too long. The Son of Heaven was forced to retreat again. His face twisted, and he said with even more annoyance, "I still can't do it." Boom! His figure disappeared. His hands formed claws in the air and heavily clawed downwards. "Break for me!" The voice roared. The Son of Heaven was already in the bath, and he could not wait a second longer. It was just that the entire Sue family was shaken. Suwanta was also worried and ran into the courtyard to see the Son of Heaven falling from the sky. His expression suddenly changed. Boom! Boom! In an instant, the Emperor's chi on Suwanta's body exploded forth. His body moved, his palms striking out. "Godchild, why are you doing this?" The 2 palms faced off. Buzz! Rumble! The sound of air exploding rang out, as countless strength stripes shot out. Suwanta consecutively retreated with explosive speed, his vital energy and blood tumbling below his chest, as well as his internal organs. The Son of Heaven also retreated a few steps, staring at Suwanta coldly. "Scram to the side." Sue was extremely weak as he said, "Daddy, save me." Suwanta's eyes tightened and said, "Godchild, What did you do to my daughter? How did she become like this? Tianzin said coldly, How dare you, little slut, reject me? No woman has ever dared to reject me. What did you do? Umph, she's been poisoned by me. Either stay with me tonight, or you will see her die from the pain. The Son of Heaven once again walked toward Su Su. He couldn't tolerate it. The corners of Su Wantu's eyes twitched as his anger billowed. At this moment, the Su clan disciples and elders surrounded the small courtyard. Looking at Su Su's painful expression, Su Wantu said heavily, Today, if you dare touch my little girl, I won't let you leave the Su family. The Son of Heaven did not have any fear. He coldly smiled and glanced at the audience. The situation was not good. He looked at Su Wantu and disdainfully said, Su Wantu, you want to fight with me? All right. When the time comes, you will bring your daughter along to kneel before me and beg me. Ahaha. His figure moved, disappearing all of a sudden. Chapter 2898. Su Su Poisoned. Chapter 2898. Su Su Poisoned. After all, the Su family was the overlord of the East Imperial City. There were many experts in the Su family, and Su Wantu was even more of a royal realm. Godchild did not dare stay. Furthermore, now that things had reached such a stage, Su Wantu would definitely not give his daughter to him in front of the entire clan. However, Godchild's heart was filled with anger. He must definitely take revenge. His figure disappeared. Su Wantu's heart secretly sank. He took a step forward and wanted to call out to the Son of Heaven, but he had already disappeared. And also, the elders of the Su family were all present. How could they tolerate Godchild treating Su Su like this? Father, you really sold me to Godchild? Is this true? Su Su's voice was incredibly weak. Her face was pale. The pubes in his stomach even felt a sharp pain. It was also because of this sharp pain that she didn't immediately faint from the poison. Su Su looked at Su Wantu's eyes. Su Wantu did not answer and instead shouted, Bring young miss back to her room. Two maids quickly walked out and supported Su Su to leave quickly. Su Su was still struggling to answer. Father, are you selling me out? Tears streamed down his face. Su Wantu also felt a burst of heartache. He didn't expect the Son of Heaven to break his hand this easily. Su Su was his daughter, so no matter what, he would still feel uncomfortable. Seeing Su Su crying so loudly, Su Wantu's heart was filled with rage, and he clenched his fists tightly. An elder of the Su family walked over with a frown on his forehead as he said, Big brother, if we offend the Godchild now, what should we do? Yeah, offending the Godchild at this critical moment. The East Imperial City is in a state of chaos. If the Dongwon College is truly able to find the antidote for the spirit-gathering pill, then the Su family's status will plummet. If the wall falls, then everyone will push it. Once our Su clan goes downhill, I'm afraid many clans will take advantage of this. We should not be facing the Godchild at this time. With his deterrence, forget about the East Imperial City. Even the overlord of the western regions would not dare to touch us. The Su clan elders started discussing. Right now, they were a lot worried that the East Imperial City and Su family had never been afraid of anyone before, but the Godchild. They couldn't afford to offend him. Su Wantu said solemnly, Am I supposed to just watch as he ruins Su Su? In front of the entire Su family? How could he not want to curry favor with the Godchild? The reason he asked Su Su to accompany him for a meal was also to make them more suitable. Regardless of whether or not Su Su could become the wife or woman of the Godchild in the end, it was at least a type of relationship, an identity. Nobody dared to underestimate someone who had a relationship with the God's tribe. But the way Godchild ate was too unsightly. How long had it been since he drugged her? Not only did he drug her, he even killed her. What was this? Even if Su Wantu was thinking of a match, he wouldn't be able to tolerate it. It was just that, now that he thought about it, Su Wantu felt a bit of regret in his heart. Since the situation is already like this, the most important thing to do now is to think of a plan. What can we do? Offending the God's tribe, not to mention our small Su family. Even he gem and level powers cannot afford to offend them. Patriarch, you are the leader of the Su family. You should think about the future of the Su family. After all, your daughter needs to be married off, and it is only a matter of time before your daughter is taken to bed by someone. One day earlier, a day later, whether it be using knockout drugs or using forceful methods, in the end, you must be. Without waiting for him to finish, Su Wantu's expression became abnormally gloomy. She took a step forward and immediately grabbed the elder's neck and raised him up to the air. Try saying half a word more. The elder was so scared that his face turned pale and his throat felt like it was about to be crushed. He didn't even dare to move, let alone speak. The faces of the surrounding elders also darkened, not daring to say another word. Humph! Su Wantu threw hard, and the elder immediately flew 5 meters away. It was also at this time. A maid ran over in a panic and anxiously said, "Master, quickly go take a look." Mrs. Face turned green, then red, then gold, then black. It is extremely painful, and she is screaming non-stop. Su Wantu's gaze tensed up. Su. In that instant, his figure disappeared. His speed was extremely fast. In a few seconds, Su Wantu rushed over to Su's room and rolled on the bed. His expression was extremely unsightly, just like the servant girl had said, as her expression kept changing. "Dad, it hurts. It hurts, Dad. Pain." Su's entire body was covered in cold sweat, his hands covering his stomach, while he continued to struggle. Su Wantu immediately shouted to the outside, "Go get a doctor, quick." At the same time, Su Wantu muttered to himself as he moved his palms. Wong. A green fluorescent light scattered from his body, enveloping Su's entire body. Cure. The Su clan's secret technique that had been passed down for 1,000 years. Su Wantu's cure was the Su family's highest grade. When he had slightly used it just now, the entire room had become filled with true spirit energy, and the cure enveloped Su. Su felt a lot more comfortable. However, before he could hold on for more than 10 seconds, Su's eyeballs popped out again as his entire body started to struggle again. Father, it hurts. Su Wantu's eyes tensed up as he continuously activated the cure. Don't be afraid. Father is here. Don't be afraid. Seeing Su struggling on the bed, Su Wantu's heart felt like it was pierced by 1,000 needles. It was extremely uncomfortable, and he felt even more regretful for what he had done tonight. The family was important, but daughter is more important. Seeing her daughter like this, Su Wantu wished that he could take this suffering in place of his daughter. More than 10 seconds passed. Su felt intense pain all over his body. He couldn't withstand it at all. To her, it was as if her body was being continuously torn apart. Her father's cure could only allow her to alleviate the pain in a few short seconds. Moreover, the cure enveloped her body, and she immediately absorbed it. Su Wantu couldn't help but let her tears flow as well, continuously releasing the cure, and comforted her. "It's not painful. Daddy is here. He'll be fine. He'll definitely be fine." Buzz. It was continuously released without stopping once. "Physician? Where's the physician?" Su Wantu suppressed his anger and said solemnly. 2 old men practically stumbled their way in. Seeing Su's constantly changing expression, one of the doctor's face immediately darkened. Using his fingers to form a vein, his expression changed as he said, "Master, it's the same poison as the spirit-gathering pill, but the poison in this body is 100 times stronger than spirit-gathering pills." Su Wantu's pupils contracted as sharp as needles. The temperature of the room suddenly dropped, becoming incomparably cold. The 2 maidservants immediately knelt on the ground. "Sire, there is nothing wrong with the young lady's food. It really isn't us. It isn't us." Su Wantu said solemnly, "Drag him out for me, and call them until they say. Investigate it immediately. Anyone who has come into contact with the young mistress, lock them up. You must find out who poisoned them." The flames of fury were burning. The doctor said, "Sir, young miss was poisoned not long ago. If not for your cure, I'm afraid young miss would already." At this moment, Suwana growled through gritted teeth. Godchild. Chapter 2899. Success. Chapter 2899. Success no way. It's not enough yet. Add more. Faster. Hurry up a bit more. Long Fei urged her on. Moreover, he walked out from the research basement into the courtyard. On his palm, there was a 10-meter-tall ball of spirit liquid, madly revolving. It was like he was performing magic. Fu Shishan, Wu Li, and the other two kept running back and forth. But even so, Long Fei still called them slow. Just a little more. Faster. Long Fei frowned. He was also drenched from head to toe, and his true spiritual value were being consumed crazily. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. If Long Fei did not have more than 8 million true spiritual value, he would have already exhausted himself. Even so, his physical body was unable to withstand it. He couldn't bear it. However, he tried his best to hold it in. If he couldn't, then his efforts would be in vain. For the sake of the warriors of the East Imperial City, no matter how painful it was, Long Fei would still endure it. Black and White had said many things. From his words, Long Fei knew that he was once Ancient World's #1 powerhouse and could crush all the realms under Ancient World. He could do whatever he wanted, but in the end, he was suppressed by the repression of boundary stones. Failed what? What was hidden in it? He did not say, and Long Fei did not know either. The more he helped, the more difficult the road would be for Long Fei in the future. The Save the East Imperial City system did not have any missions, nor did it have anyone special to save, but Long Fei faintly felt that this was the tribulation that he would have to undergo. He felt that he had to save her. Maybe he was hiding something. Maybe. That was his mission. Hurry up. Quick, quick, quick. Long Fei was sweating like it was raining, perspiration trickling down his forehead. He was completely focused on the gigantic pill and had never tried it before. Not even once. If he failed, tens of millions of East Imperial City warriors would die. He couldn't afford to make any mistakes. At the same time, he continued to purchase from the system's merchant shop. I'm out of money. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The sound of the spiritual liquid rotating was extremely shocking. For an entire 8 hours, Long Fei continuously controlled the spirit liquid. His true spirit flame was continuously released, and the ancient alchemy technique was also continuously controlled. To Long Fei, alchemy was merely a matter of minutes. He had never cultivated a pill in 8 hours before. Fu Shishan, Wu Li, and Xianyan were also exhausted like a dog. Fu Shishan threw the last spirit grass over to Long Fei and sat on the ground paralyzed. His face was flushed red and drenched in sweat. He panted heavily as he raised his head to look at the huge pellets in the sky and said, Long Fei, the spirit grass is all gone. Wu Li also leaned to the side. Not bothering to wipe the sweat off his face, he stared at Long Fei's hand and the huge pellet. In his heart, other than shock, he could not find any other words to describe his current state of mind. Too strong, really too strong. Unprecedented. Qianyan also looked at Long Fei with his mouth wide, opened in shock. He had always been not optimistic about Long Fei, but now the power Long Fei displayed completely overturned him. Good boy, if this pill is successful, then he will become the #1 alchemist in the East Imperial City. Long Fei's body trembled slightly. The pellet was too heavy, and his true spiritual value was almost depleted. The Zhongling pills had also been used up. However, he was just short of his last breath. Looking at the pellet above his head, Long Fei's mind stirred. The strong power of the ancient alchemy technique came out of his body once again. Turn, spin, spin. The fusion of spirit liquids. Fusion of chrysanthemum. The two fused into one and reached a perfect state. Finally, Long Fei released the remaining 100,000 true spiritual value from his body and let out a heavy roar. Done. 100,000 true spiritual value transformed into a true spirit fire, suddenly enveloping the enormous pellet as a series of creaking sounds were emitted. 100,000 true spiritual value were completely burnt. All the strength in Long Fei's body was suddenly thrown into the air. Whoosh! The pill entered the tens of meters in the sky. Cold air blew in from outside the city to hasten the cooling of the pill. Quickly cool down. Finally, it landed in the yard with a hong sound. It was like a huge iron ball that was 10 meters tall. It looked very shocking. Everyone stared dumbstruck at the huge iron ball. This is a pill. Such a huge pill. I want to know who can swallow this pill in a single gulp. What's the use of it if it can't be swallowed? That's right, Long Fei. What exactly did you refine? Long Fei excitedly looked at the gigantic pellet. Even though he was tired, so tired that he was gasping for breath, he was actually very excited in his heart. The idea moved the pellet into the space ring as soon as it moved, and said, "Who said we must consume the pellet? Huh, if I don't consume it, how should I use it? Could it be that everyone is digging for food with a spoon?" Fu Shishan had a puzzled expression as well. Long Fei laughed. "You will know tomorrow." Heh. If he wasn't wrong, then this pill could save the poison from the spirit-gathering pill within the bodies of all the martial artists in the city. However, Long Fei didn't dare guarantee anything in his heart. What if he failed? At this moment, a student ran into the courtyard and said, "The principal wants me to tell you that Su Wantu wants to see you." Long Fei was startled. "Su Wantu? F***CK. You're thinking of me now? Tell him that you want to see me. Wait 3 days." That afternoon, he was really unhappy. Originally, the spirit-concentrating pills were not spread very strongly, and if the Su family stepped in to stop them, it would not have reached such a stage. The disciple said, "Su Wantu said that as long as you can save his daughter, he will give you an apology in front of everyone in the city." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei's eyes became serious. So is in trouble. Then, Long Fei quickly rushed out. If Su Wantu wanted to see him, Long Fei would definitely make him wait for 3 days. But right now, Su was in danger, so Long Fei couldn't wait for even a second. After all, this little girl had helped him a lot before. Seeing Su Wantu, Long Fei immediately said, "We can talk about our matters in the future. Let's first talk about what happened to Su. Su Wantu could tell that Long Fei was extremely tired, but his concern for Su caused him to blame himself in his heart, and he said, "Su Sesame has been poisoned by the spirit-gathering pill." Just that. The poison in her body is 100 times stronger than spirit-gathering pills. Long Fei, do you have a way? F***king shit. You dare to touch Laozi's woman? F***king, 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 F. Just you wait. Long Fei cursed, his mind becoming tense. Let's go to the Su family first. In another place, the 2 girls beside Godchild were lying on the ground completely naked, without any signs of life. Godchild glanced at him coldly, walked out of the room, and said coldly, "Tomorrow morning, we will begin harvesting." Chapter 2900, I leave my daughter to you. Chapter 2900, I leave my daughter to you late at night in the Su clan. When he rushed to Su's room, Su was already in deep slumber, but he still muttered from time to time, "Pain. Father, I'm in so much pain. Big brother Long Fei, where are you? I can't see you anymore." In the room, for senior elders of the Su family, all of whom were powerhouse of the senior realm, were constantly releasing cure on Su. Cure, a secret technique that uses a person's true soul to transform. It consumed a lot of true spiritual value. The powerhouse of the senior realm could not hold on for long, and after these few hours, the healing effect of the cure was getting weaker and weaker. Originally, 3 seconds of activation was enough, but now it could be released once every second. Su was completely supported by the cure. Long Fei sat on the edge of the bed and studied his own face. The idea moved slightly and moved through his entire body, finally landing on the pubes S. purplish gold goo worm. Suwanto immediately came over and asked, "How is it?" Long Fei stared at Suwanto and said solemnly, "East Imperial City has so many people who have been poisoned. Why are you not being cautious? Furthermore, you were poisoned by Su. How did you become a father?" "Kid, what did you say to the city lord?" A man immediately shouted. Long Fei did not even look at him, not giving him any face at all. He was currently filled with rage, because the poison in Su's body was a lot more advanced than the spirit-gathering pill. He didn't know. He didn't know that the pills he refined were useless. He wasn't confident at all. Long Fei took a glance at the elders of the Su family who were still releasing their cure and said, "Do you know what the both of you are doing? Your cure is not trying to save Su, but to raise the goo worms in her body. Once it forms a cocoon, the master of this goo will be able to instantly take Su's life. Suwanto, no matter what, you are still the city lord. You are experienced and knowledgeable, to the point you don't even know about this?" Suwanto's face darkened. He had no power to refute. However, all of the Su clan elders were displeased. "Brat, who do you think you are? Do you know where this is? This is the city lord's mansion, and this is the Su clan. Who do you think you are?" Suwanto's voice sunk as he shouted loudly, "All of you shut up." The room instantly quieted down. Because the few elders were extremely unhappy with Long Fei, they did not manage to connect their cure well. In that moment, Su suddenly woke up from the pain. His eyeballs bulged and were bloodshot. He was trembling from head to toe due to the excruciating pain. "Ah, it hurts! Father, father! It hurts, it hurts!" Suwanto instantly stepped forward and said, "Father is here, father is here. So Su does not need to be afraid." Looking at Su's expression, Long Fei's heart sank as well. Su, sorry, I came late." Although he was furious, Long Fei endured it at this moment. Suwanto couldn't even protect her own daughter, and the poison in her body was just as Suwanto said. It was at least 100 times stronger than the spirit-gathering pill. When Su saw Long Fei, he immediately pounced forward and threw himself in a Long Fei's embrace, and immediately started bawling. Woo-woo. Asterisk big brother Long Fei. I thought you didn't want me anymore. Woo-woo. I feel so uncomfortable. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said softly, "Don't be afraid. I will definitely save you. I definitely will." While they were talking, Long Fei took out a small-sized medicinal pellet and fed it to Su. The medicinal pill entered his body. Su's pain lessened. However, she did not spit out black blood. Useless? Long Fei's heart sank. The level of the goo is too high. Only after refining an even stronger insect-slaughtering pill will it be useful. Su felt comfortable and said, "Big brother Long Fei, I don't feel pain anymore." Before he could finish his words, "Woo! Ah!" Su's body suddenly shook, and his entire being seemed to have gone mad as he started to struggle frantically. Ah! My stomach. It was as if he was suffering from a psychotic attack. His hands frantically scratched his stomach. The clothes were torn. His stomach began to vibrate, and rays of golden and purple light began to shine from his stomach, as if there was a lantern in his stomach. The meridian on her abdomen was clearly illuminated. It was completely purplish black, but her belly was still cracking, and traces of blood seeped out from the cracks. His body felt like it was about to split open piece by piece. The look of pain was unparalleled. How could this be? How can this be? What did you give her? So, don't be afraid, Daddy is here. Suwanto was panicking. His hands quickly formed a seal, and his forehead sank. With a heavy voice, he said, "Ancient tree that reached the sky. Open. Buzz." The phantom of a huge, ancient tree appeared on his body. A few Su family elders were shocked. Ancient tree of life. The glow on the ancient tree scattered down and quickly gathered onto Su's body. Su's pain was alleviated. The cracks also disappeared, and the golden and purple light also disappeared. He regained his calm. Long Fei's heart tensed up. He did not know what to say. As a father, He couldn't do anything about his daughter's pain. However, with such a powerful recovery spirit injected into Su's body, the goo worm in her body would quickly grow, and the goo worm would constantly absorb her true soul. The reason why Su was in such pain was because the true soul in her body had been sucked dry. Su once again fell into a deep sleep. Due to the absorption of her true soul, the goo worms in her body also calmed down. A few elders were connecting with each other again to inject the healing true soul into Su's body. The corners of Su Wantu's eyes were moist, his heart blaming himself. Long Fei also said solemnly, "Fuck, don't let me know who refined this kind of evil pill, or else I will definitely overturn 18 generations of his ancestors." Really pissed off, Su Wanta hesitated for a moment, then said, "Long Fei, come out." Long Fei glanced at Su Wantu and followed him out. Su Wanta asked, "Is there any way to cure the poison in Su's body?" Long Fei said honestly, "I can already cure most of the pill's venom, but the venom in Su's body is exceptionally strong. It is completely different from the venom in the spirit-gathering pill. I really can't think of a way right now, but I will definitely do my best." "Thank you," Su Wanta suddenly said. Long Fei was stunned. Su Wanta said, "Last time was my mistake. I shouldn't have looked at you like that. This time, if not for the armor you gave Su, I'm afraid that Su would already have." Long Fei's brows tightened and said, "Who wants to kill her?" Su Wanta said, "I will take care of this matter." "Long Fei, my daughter really likes you. She has never seriously liked anyone before, so today I'll pass her to you. You have to treat her well. Otherwise, I won't let you off so easily." Long Fei. He didn't know what to say. I keep having the feeling that the Su wanted today is a little different. It was the Elder Swordsman's ancient sword spiritual power. It was the Elder Swordsman's ancient sword spiritual power. Suddenly betrothed his daughter to him? Was it the proud and aloof Su Wanda who valued his own identity? Long Fei was unable to react in time. Su Wanda patted Long Fei's shoulders and said, "Brat, don't disappoint me." Finished. Su Wanda turned and walked out of the courtyard. He did not enter Su's room, but instead left. Long Fei was secretly startled and muttered, "Damn, am I very familiar with you? Today is my first time meeting you officially. Why don't you just hand your daughter over to me?" "This is too hasty. Is it because I'm too handsome, too cool, too attractive?" Long Fei muttered, but did not think too much about it. He turned around and walked into Su's room. Seeing the changing expression on Su's face, his heart tensed up. The situation was thorny, and Long Fei was helpless to do anything. Ordinary antidotes were of no use to Su at all, even if he had released the super pill. Unless, if he could find an evil pill master who refined this pellet, he would not be able to do anything. Long Fei gently held Su's small hand and said, "Rest assured, I will definitely save you. I definitely will." Su smiled as if she had heard what Long Fei said. Then, Long Fei also quickly left. He returned to Lan Mei's place. Canon Tandapeo quietly landed and said, "Brother Fei, what's the situation now? The warriors in East Imperial City are even more crazy. If this goes on, I'm afraid that they will lose control of themselves." Long Fei asked, "How you been these past few days?" Tandapeo said, "Nothing. The Su family had sent a few hidden guards to watch the place, but they were all under my surveillance, and for some reason, they had all left." Long Fei's heart trembled. He did not think much about it, and said, "Go and check the source of the spirit-gathering pill for me, if you can find that evil pill master. One night, if you can't find it, then come back as soon as possible." Tandapeo nodded and said, "Amen." He quickly left the yard. Long Fei straightened his clothes, revealing a bland smile, and said, "Lan Mei, I'm back." The lights in the room instantly lit up, and Lan Mei also quickly ran out. She was wearing her pajamas, and 2 of the rabbits she was wearing were swinging around. "Where have you been these past few days? I'm so worried about you." Her voice sounded worried, but it was also incomparably gentle. Lan Mei knew a lot of things that happened in the city these past few days. The young warriors and elders of the Lan clan all became like madmen. Not just Lan clan. It was the same for the disciples of the hundreds of families in East Imperial City. One by one, they roamed the streets, their eyes glazed over, their bodies lean, as if they were soulless people. Long Fei's heart immediately warmed, and the tiredness on his body instantly disappeared. There was a feeling of home here that made him feel very comfortable. Long Fei lightly patted Lan Mei's back and said, "I'm fine." Lan Mei hugged even tighter and said, "I'm so worried about you." Its body was stuck on Long Fei's chest, and it was even wearing pajamas. That kind of feeling, Long Fei was a little unable to control himself and said, "Don't worry, others will always have something going on. I will definitely be fine." But he tried his best to hold it in, because he was worried that he would harm Lan Mei. Lan Mei had said it before, that if she were to give away someone who wasn't a holy vein for the first time, she would quickly die. She only had 1 or 2 months of time remaining in her life. At the very least, she still had a little time left for Long Fei to find stronger and higher level blood vein. If he had hurt Lan Mei because of his impulsiveness, Long Fei would blame himself for his entire life. Long Fei's body was scorching hot. Even Lan Mei could feel the reaction from his body. Her small face was flushed red, and she whispered into Long Fei's ears, "I like you. I want to be your new wife. Can you?" Her words were direct. Long Fei was not stupid, so he naturally understood what was going on. Even a man would not be able to resist such an alluring woman. However, Long Fei held back, not because he wasn't a man, because he didn't want Lan Mei to disappear from his life, and said slightly, "Don't be anxious. Once I settle the matter of your veins being blocked, I will make you my Long Fei's woman." Lan Mei's heart tensed, but suddenly tears started streaming down her face uncontrollably. She had given up, but Long Fei was still working hard. She really didn't know how many good deeds such a good man had done in her previous life. Long Fei slightly said, "All right, take a good rest. I still have some matters to attend to. Be careful alone at night." Even though Lan Mei was reluctant to part with it, she wouldn't stop Long Fei. She replied obediently, "Amen, I'll wait for your return." Long Fei gently smiled and said, "Be good." Coming out from his home, Long Fei took a deep breath. As he looked at the streets filled with disciples from various families, he said in his heart, "I will definitely save East Imperial City." Speed increase. He was going out of town. Refining the pill was not enough, because he was unable to detoxify all those who were poisoned in an instant. He had to have help. Beneath the city walls, in a small, dilapidated courtyard. In the corner, the tobacco was burning. Long Fei came to the small courtyard and respectfully said, "Elder swordsman." And then, he did not stay any longer and directly walked into the house to leave the city. Elder swordsman said lightly, "He is the descendant of God's tribe. You can't win against him. Moreover, aren't you from the same clan as him?" Long Fei stopped in his tracks, slightly stunned for a moment, and said, "A clan? I am of the God's tribe." He did not understand. However, Long Fei asked with interest, "Elder swordsman, how did you know?" Squeak, squeak, squeak. The aura on his body trembled slightly as he raised his eyes to look at Long Fei. He said, "Is that not the case? Otherwise, how could you have a space ring from the God's tribe, and one that only the presbyter of God's tribes are qualified to wear?" The air in the yard was a little cold, with killing intent. Long Fei was exceptionally sensitive to killing intent, and said, "Elder swordsman, you truly know a lot. Even the space ring that presbyter of God's tribe is qualified to wear seems like you understand God's tribe very well. A person who knows the God's tribe so well, yet is staying in a place like the East Imperial City where people treat him as a prisoner. In such a courtyard, what are you trying to hide from?" As soon as Long Fei finished his sentence, the murderous aura in the yard grew stronger. Elder swordsman did not seem to reveal anything, but he was staring straight at Long Fei from the corner of his eyes. Long Fei said, "Allow me to make a bold guess. You can't be a felon caught by the God's tribe, right? Hiding in such a dark place. You don't have God's tribe curse mark on you, right? Buzz! In that instant, the atmosphere in the courtyard became abnormally gloomy and cold. Elder Swordsman slowly raised his gaze, his body slowly straightened. His eyes were like a beast, staring straight at Long Fei. Imperceptibly, the killing intent in his body stirred like an ancient sword's spiritual power. Chapter 2902 Identification Disclosure Chapter 2902 Identification Disclosure. At first, Long Fei was only guessing. But the killing intent that erupted from Elder Swordsman's body caused him to tremble. Long Fei's heart sank. Could it be that I guessed right? Was he really a felon caught by the God's tribe? And with God's tribe curse mark just like me? In that instant, Long Fei frowned and inwardly shouted, "Not good." If he guessed correctly, the Elder Swordsman would let him off? If others knew that Long Fei had the game system in his body, Long Fei would also try to kill him and not leave him alive. The same thing is happening now. In that moment, Long Fei seemed to have not thought about it at all. The idea moved. Green dragon battle suits open. Buzz. Roar. A draconic roar was heard. However, in that instant, the Elder Swordsman disappeared. In the instant the dragon's roar exploded, a shocking sword spirit fiercely slashed down. Walala, walala, walala. The green dragon ghosting had shattered, and the dragon's roar had not fully sounded before it dissipated. The sword intent from this strike was terrifying. Long Fei had never seen such a dense and strong sword intent. A single sword strike had destroyed the Azure Dragon. Moreover, in this instant, the strong sword intent directly formed into a huge sword that looked like it was solid. The huge sword slashed and smashed towards Long Fei's head. Had also seen the Elder Swordsman's attacks. They were very strong and sharp. However, the sword intent he was currently displaying could not be described as forceful. It was as if it could destroy the world. Not only that, all kinds of lights flashed under Elder Swordsman's clothes. The light emitted by the Curse Mark S. They were all densely packed with Curse Mark S, and even the marks on their faces appeared as well. His face was covered in sweat. The black runes burned Elder Swordsman like flames. Elder Swordsman had a painful expression on his face, but his eyes were filled with an extremely strong hatred. With a gloomy and hoarse voice, he said, "God's tribe destroyed my family. I will use my entire life to kill all of your God's tribe's dogs." Die. The power was like a raging sea. The sword intent came crashing down like a sky. This power, enough to instantly kill the Emperor Powerhouse. He couldn't block it. Long Fei was afraid that no amount of power could resist him. He was too strong. The power released from Elder Swordsman's body was too strong. Killing flying sword. Buzz. Long Fei moved and immediately took out the injured killing sword. However, before the killing sword could go up, it was squashed down by the incomparably powerful ancient sword's spiritual power. Clang! It fell onto the ground, and in front of the ancient sword's spiritual power, it was as if it was squashed down like an ant. The killing flying sword was also a type of ancient inheritance. Although the Mahayana realm was injured, it was still enough to instantly kill the powerhouse of the senior realm. However, it was instantly crushed. What did that mean? The ancient sword spiritual power released by the Elder Swordsman was also the power of the ancient inheritance. Long Fei's mind tensed up and anxiously said, "Elder Swordsman, listen to me. I am the same as you, and am also wanted by God's tribe." In a moment of desperation, Long Fei had to say it. If he didn't, his life would be gone. Between exposure and life, there was no doubt that Long Fei would choose his life. Elder Swordsman coldly said, "When did God's tribe's people have so little backbone? Do you think I'd believe you? That descendant of God's tribe should also be brought here by you, right? Ever since you appeared, the matters of the East Imperial City have never stopped. You're too suspicious." Elder Swordsman did not believe in Long Fei. Moreover, his revealing himself already showed how strong his killing intent was. He had always wanted to find out Long Fei's identity, so it could be said that no one was more clear of Long Fei than him. During this time, everything that Long Fei revealed was true. Save them. Save them. Saving Night Valley, and now also saving East Imperial City at the Alchemy. All of this was too puzzling for him. He even wanted to exclude Long Fei, but Long Fei's words just now made it clear to him that he could not stay. If he was still alive, then Powerhouse of God's tribe would gather in the East Imperial City in the near future, and he would not be able to save him. Thus, Long Fei had to die. Damn, I've always thought that he was formidable, but F***CK. I never thought that they would be powerful to this extent. There's no other way. Long Fei was burning with anxiety and said, "You don't believe what I'm saying, right? All right, then look carefully." While they were talking, Long Fei moved. Ancient inheritance. Super force of Ming clan. Dark black flame. His left hand moved. Buzz. The purplish-black underworld fire began to burn, which was nothing much. More importantly, when he released the ancient inheritance, his chest also started to shine with the light of the gods' tribe's curse mark. He wasn't sure about anything else, but the S were clearer than anyone else. He stared at Long Fei, and his gaze tightened. God's tribe's curse mark. Since he had already revealed it, Long Fei no longer hid anything. He pulled the clothes on his chest and said, "Now do you believe me? Like I said, I'm the same kind of person as you. The God's tribe space ring you're talking about, I took them from you after killing the presbyter of God's tribe. If you don't believe me, then just kill me. Let the God's tribe have one less enemy, and you can take my head and give it to the God's tribe. Maybe the God's tribe will spare your life, since my Emperor Xian doesn't want my life for 1 or 2 days." Yi Zichen spoke in a hurry. He spoke very quickly, because the ancient sword's spiritual power he obtained was getting closer and closer to him. It was only half a centimeter away from his scalp. At this moment, buzz! The greatsword stopped. Long Fei's forehead dripped with cold sweat as he cursed in his heart. Fuck, I almost died here. He only had one life. Not a game, not a revival. Hoo. Long Fei gasped for breath. His eyes raised slightly as he looked at the huge, ancient sword intent that had not left, and said, "Elder swordsman, if you do not remove this sword intent, you and I will be exposed, and with our current strength, we are not able to fight against God's tribe." Long Fei had already kept the super force of Ming clan, and thought to himself, "Damn, it's all because of the power of the ancient inheritance. Why is my power so weak? How the hell do I cultivate this darn ancient inheritance? Damn you." The elder swordsman idea moved, and the turbulent courtyard instantly became quiet. He stared at the God's tribe curse mark, which was slowly hiding itself on Long Fei's chest, and asked, "Why did your imprint disappear so quickly?" The mark on his body was still there. In order to hide these imprints, elder swordsman had to pay an extremely heavy price. In these few hundred years, his cultivation had not advanced even a single inch, just to hide these curse mark. Moreover, why is there only a small mark on your chest? Long Fei replied, "I'm not sure either. Maybe it's because your head is more valuable than mine. Let's talk about these things later. Elder swordsman, we are of the same race, and taking over the God's tribe is our common goal. You just said that there's a descendant of God's tribe in the East Imperial City, and you think you can beat him?" Elder swordsman coldly said, "Royal realm? An existence just like an ant." Chapter 29:03 Reaching Consensus. Chapter 29:03 Reaching Consensus. The elder swordsman is very strong. How strong is it? I don't know. How strong was he? I don't know. But, to sum it up, Royal Realm was like an ant. Then how strong was he? The Emperor Realm? God's holy state? Even higher realms? Moreover, he definitely had the power of the ancient inheritance on him, and had already cultivated it to an extremely explosive level. How could someone who had obtained the power of the ancient inheritance be weak? Long Fei's heart trembled, and said, "Then, can you help me?" Elder swordsman looked at Long Fei, and said indifferently, "No." And If you don't want to ignite the flames in your body, I recommend that you better not provoke that descendant of God's tribe. Otherwise, not only will you die, you'll also implicate the people of the entire East Imperial City. Long Fei's heart trembled. Long Fei is indeed clear about the methods used by the God's tribe. A plane of existence which is billions of dollars instantly turned into dust. He simply wouldn't tell you that much. It was a direct attack. Because he was the overlord, and because he controlled the universal boundary, he could break anyone's life no matter who he wanted. Cruel? What did not exist was only the reason of the weak. The word cruel did not exist in the eyes of Powerhouse. Elder Swordsman bowed, his expression returning to normal, and he said, "Forget it. You cannot save East Imperial City." While they were talking, the Elder Swordsman slowly walked into the room with his back bent. Long Fei was a little angry in his heart and said, "Don't tell me you want to hide here for your entire life? Are you like a hunchback for life? Don't you want to stand up? Don't you want to go out and take a look? Don't you want to trample God's tribe to death?" He spoke with a heavy tone. The Elder Swordsman in the room did not respond. He only revealed a bitter smile. When had Long Fei ever talked about things that he had not thought about before? But his loss was a complete mess. His family, his people, even his sect had completely annihilated all those who were related to him. This was the result of his resistance. He was once as hot-blooded and as indignant as Long Fei. But in the end, it was not that he did not want revenge, nor that the hatred in his heart had disappeared, but it was because the God's tribe was too strong, a giant that was tens of thousands of meters tall, standing in front of him. Immovable, it was filled with powerlessness. Long Fei was still unwilling, and said, "Elder Swordsman, just now, you wanted to kill me in front of the people of God's tribe. I know that your blood has never been cold before. If you want to take revenge, if you want to kill, then go ahead and do it all." Elder Swordsman still did not respond. Long Fei let out a long sigh, then said, "Before, I didn't know, but now I understand. No wonder the God's tribe was able to control the universal boundary for billions of years and stand firmly. The people who were wanted by the God's tribe were all like you. No one dared to resist. And if I let you kneel down, you'll kneel down. And if I tell you that you're a dog, you'll be a dog for life." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, buzz! A sword chime sounded in the room. It was extremely sharp. Without waiting for Long Fei's reaction, a figure rushed out. The 7-foot-long blade directly struck at the center between Long Fei's brows. Elder Swordsman's eyes were like swords. The aura on his body was also like a sword. Exceptionally angry, Long Fei could feel it. The air seemed as if it was ignited by the flames of fury that was being emitted from Elder Swordsman's body. It was even stronger than the previous ancient sword's spiritual power. He couldn't stop it at all. However, Long Fei was not afraid. Her eyes did not even bat an eyelid as she replied, "I'm not wrong. If everyone were like you, the God tribe would still be able to rule the universal boundary for another billions of years. You will never be able to take revenge. You will only be able to hide in this dark place forever. Elder Swordsman, I know that my cultivation is not even considered as an ant in front of you, but I have the heart to rebel, not to mention a descendant of God's tribe. Even if Emperor Xian were before me, I would still dare to rebel. Since life and death were indifferent to it, he might as well do it if he refused to accept it. He did not know about the past events in the Zhenwu continent, but he was very clear about what had happened in the Zhenwu continent. Long Fei's heart was full of fire. They had finally met a descendant of God's tribe in East Imperial City. How could they let him off? Who cares what the consequences would be? With Long Fei's character, we can talk after we kill him. Elder Swordsman stared at Long Fei and said, "Are you not afraid of death?" Long Fei said, "I am afraid, but I think there is no one more afraid of death than me. But I am more afraid of being like you, hiding in this kind of place and doing nothing, unable to raise your head up for the rest of your life." Cluck, cluck, cluck. The sound of cracking ice filled the air. The air was going to explode. The look in Elder Swordsman's eyes became more and more sharp, as though 10,000 sword beams were going to kill Long Fei. Long Fei also looked at Elder Swordsman. His eyes were bloodshot. Their eyes met. The surrounding air seemed to be on fire, and the two of them seemed to have entered a kind of idea battlefield as they fought in a frenzy. After a long time, Elder Swordsman gently retracted his gaze. Was Long Fei victorious in this battle? Long Fei's palms were covered in cold sweat, and he also heavily exhaled. Then, Elder Swordsman said coldly, I can help you, but I won't reveal myself. He was gambling. It was a small bet, because he couldn't bet too much on Long Fei. He couldn't see much hope in Long Fei, so it was obvious that he would lose. Long Fei's heart relaxed, and he said, These words of yours are enough. There needs to be a process of understanding between people. Since Elder Swordsman was willing to help him, it meant that Long Fei had won. As for his last few words, Long Fei understood it very well, as his current cultivation could not make Elder Swordsman feel at ease. However, he was not worried at all, thinking that he would become stronger. He would get the Elder Swordsman to bet everything on him. Elder Swordsman retracted all of his sharp aura and said, What do you want to do? If we were to kill descendant of God's tribe here, and if God's tribe finds out about this matter, East Imperial City will definitely raze this place to the ground, and even more people will die. Long Fei said, Then let him die somewhere else. Elder Swordsman was startled. You have a way? The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up, and he said, Ha! Elder Swordsman said, Brat, I am not afraid. I am afraid that my own death isn't worth it. If I die because of a mere descendant of God's tribe, then there is no meaning in living for so many years. Actually, the Elder Swordsman was also waiting. He was waiting for someone to rebel against the God's tribe and form a strong alliance. However, after waiting so many years, he still hadn't seen anyone but the God's tribe, and it had instead become stronger and stronger. When Emperor Xian controls the power of the ancient inheritance, no one can go against the number one powerhouse. His heart grew colder and colder. Long Fei nodded and said, I know how to do it. Don't worry. Descendant of God's tribe cannot die in anyone's hands. But will he be able to die at the hands of the ancient monster? The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up as he looked at the cold wind above the city walls and muttered, I'll let this year's midwinter come even earlier. Chapter 2904. I don't allow such an awesome person to exist. Chapter 2904. I don't allow such an awesome person to exist late at night. With just you. Su Wan Tu. You think you're qualified to fight against me? Ha! You overestimate yourself. Godchild let out a disdainful sneer, stepping on the dying Su Wan Tu. Just recently, there had been a huge battle before, but it couldn't really be called a huge battle because the battle had lasted for less than 3 minutes. During that 3 minutes, the number one powerhouse disciple, Su Wan Tu, had been ruthlessly ravaged. It could be said that he had no way to counter. They were both in the royal realm, but the strength of the Godchild was much stronger than Su Wan Tu. Su Wan has said solemnly, Godchild, please let my daughter go. Let her daughter go? The corners of Godchild's lips curled up as he coldly laughed. Huh? Don't worry, if I don't let her die, she definitely won't die. None of the women I fancy can escape. If they can, then they will die. Su Wan Tu's voice trembled and said, Let her go. She's still a child. I'm begging you. I can give you everything I have. Please let her go. As he thought about Su's painful and struggling appearance, Su Wan Tu's heart started to feel unspeakably uncomfortable. He blamed himself for his decision. He never thought that he would become like this, never thought that the Godchild would be such a person that would not let go. Moreover, he also thought that the reason the East Imperial City turned out like this was definitely because the Son of Heaven was behind it. However, everything was known too late. Godchild stared at Su Wan Tu and said, I can let her go, but swallow this pill. He took out a purple pill. It was clear from one look that this pill was not a normal pill. Su Wan Tu frowned. The Son of Heaven sneered, Swallow it. As long as you swallow it, I will consider letting your daughter go. Su Wan Tu hesitated for half a second, picked up the pill, and said, All right, I hope you keep your promise. He put it into his mouth and swallowed it. Ha ha ha. Ha! The Son of Heaven immediately grew bigger, looked at Su Wanta, who was slowly standing up, and slapped him. Pa! Immediately, Su Wanta fell to the ground in a flash, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. The Son of Heaven shouted, "Who are you? Bargain with me? Are you qualified? You want me to let your daughter go? Humph! I still haven't settled the score with you for what happened tonight." Su Wantu's eyes darkened, and he said angrily, "Godchild, you cannot go back on your words." "Ha ha! Going back on your word? It depends on who. Do you need to keep my promise, you piece of trash? If it weren't for the fact that you are a royal realm, which is still of some use to me, do you think you would still be standing in front of me and talk to me? If it were not for the fact that the people from the Dongwon College did not use the spirit-gathering pill, causing him to feel a little uneasy, he would not have needed to spare Su Wanta's life. He just found out none of the disciples of the Dongwon College took a spirit-gathering pill. Not only that, there were even people in Dongwon College who were secretly researching on the antidote for the spirit-gathering pill. The rage in Su Wantu's heart churned and once again erupted. He had already made all the preparations, including his death, for his daughter. In this instant, he wanted to die with the Son of Heaven. However, just as his strength was surging, his body suddenly sank, and his head seemed about to split open. He couldn't help but scream in pain. The Son of Heaven sneered and said, "Satisfying? You want to die with me? Old thing, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? Do you really think I will marry your daughter? Do you think your Su family is worthy? Who am I? I am the descendant of God's tribe. Is a mere daughter of a family fit to marry me? Humph! If it wasn't for the fact that your daughter is pretty, I wouldn't even look at her. Of course, your daughter isn't bad at all. I'll play for a few more days, ha-ha." The Son of Heaven sneered, "Human, humph, there are so many weak points. It's really not suitable for a race like this to stay in the universal realm. Too weak." Su Wanta roared in his heart. He was doing his best to resist. But, in his mind, his consciousness seemed to be like a virus that was madly invading his mind, gradually losing itself. In the end, his eyes slowly became calm. He closed his eyes for a moment, then suddenly opened them, and they turned purple. The Son of Heaven smiled slightly and said, "Elder Hua, the new medicine that I've concocted this time is really quite good." In the darkness, Hua Hong walked out, and then another old man walked out. Hua Hong said, "This is because the ingredients provided by young master are good. Otherwise, we would not be able to refine a person capable of controlling the royal realm. Ha! Now that we have an emperor's slave, taking down the East Imperial City will be a piece of cake." The Son of Heaven laughed. "After I cultivate and fuse the evil powder in the East Imperial City's warriors' bodies, I will be able to break through quickly. Maybe I can even step into the Emperor realm. Young Master is mighty. Young Master is mighty. Young Master is mighty." Hua Hong and the rest quickly replied. The Son of Heaven looked up at the sky and muttered, "God's tribe palace. I will definitely step onto the shrine. Definitely." Then, the Son of Heaven looked at Su Wantu and said, "Go and exterminate the Dean of Donghuan College for me. Also, investigate who is developing the antidote for the spirit-gathering pill for me. I won't allow such an awesome person to exist." Su Wanta nodded heavily and said, "Understood, Master." At this moment, it was as if some command was injected into Su Wantu's mind. Without any hesitation, he jumped into the darkness, heading straight for Dongwon College. And then, Tianzi looked at Hua Hong and said, "There are 10 great beauties in East Imperial City, other than the one in the Su family. There's also another one called the Blue Demoness. Have you found her yet?" Hua Hong said, "The location has already been determined." The Son of Heaven smiled evilly. "Very good. Bring her to me tomorrow." Hua Hong said, "Understood." "Right, young noble. You have a plan for the matter regarding Violet Gold Godguard's commander, General Tianwu." The Son of Heaven's eyes lit up. He immediately became excited and asked, "Did you find its corpse?" Hua Hong said, "No, but I found him, the person who merged with the ancient inheritance in General Tianwu's body." As expected, A bright light flashed in the Son of Heaven's eyes, his blood boiling with ecstasy as he asked, "Are you sure it's the power of the ancient inheritance?" Hua Hong said, "According to the hint you gave us, he should be able to confirm that he is a general-level warrior who used that power to instantly kill the powerhouse of the senior realm." The light in the Son of Heaven's eyes became even brighter. He said, "Then we can't be wrong. Where is he now? Get him here immediately." Hua Hong said, "Still checking." The Son of Heaven's gaze darkened and said, "You must catch him. With this power of the ancient inheritance, I can quickly step into shrine." Haha, my time is coming. Chapter 29:05 Demon Wolves and Frost Dragons. Chapter 29:05 Demon Wolves and Frost Dragons Night Valley. Long Fei's breathing became a little hurried. Using green dragon battle suits to travel was so extravagant. However, Long Fei had no choice but to do this, otherwise he would not be able to catch up to the Night Valley. Yi Mei and the other two sisters quickly nodded and said, "Okay, we'll do it right now." Long Fei replied, "It's been hard on you." The elder sister said, "Night King does not need to be courteous to us. We are your Night Empress, and we will do our best to deal with you. We will immediately rush to the extreme regions." "All right, you must be careful," Long Fei reminded. "Don't worry, the armor you gave us is enough to protect our lives." The little sister giggled. Long Fei said, "Also, go inform the Queen of Ghastly Cave." The elder sister said, "All right, I will arrange for people to go there immediately." Long Fei said, "Once the ancient monster arrives, the two forces in the wormhole and the ice plains will definitely participate. At that time, you all," a Night Valley elder said, "Night King, you don't have to worry. Without your order, we would never have participated in this invasion, not to mention the wormhole and the ice plains. Yes, you are the Night King, and your words are orders. Forget about not invading the East Imperial City. Even if we have to go against the wormhole, the ice plains are still your problem." "You're right. Wormhole. What the heck is the ice plains? I've long disliked them. Big bugs and ice demons." Now, Long Fei held a very high position in the Night Valley clan. They had also placed Long Fei in front of their Night King. Long Fei said, "Thank you, everyone." It had to be said that to save East Imperial City this time around, to be able to give up their hatred from the past was truly too difficult. Long Fei was grateful from the bottom of his heart. Right? What exactly is the ancient monster of the extreme lands? Long Fei couldn't help but ask. He really wanted to know what rank an ancient monster was at that time. Don't tell me we're not going to kill the boss. It doesn't exist. If they wanted to kill the descendant of God's tribe, the ancient monster would not let them off. If the insect cave or the demon beast from the ice plains came, they would still kill them. This was a great opportunity for him to gain experience and go on a rampage. An old man said lightly, "We have never met either. It's also a legend left behind 100 years ago that there are two ancient monsters under the polar regions. They say it's a demon wolf from ancient times and a frost dragon. But what exactly is it? No one knows. After all, they have never appeared before." This year, there were rumors that a fissure was formed in the extreme regions that said they were going to break through the extreme regions. Long Fei secretly thought, "Wolf dragon." An image appeared in his mind. A white wolf, a giant western dragon. Strange. Long Fei shook his head and muttered, "Why is there a scene in my mind?" Without thinking too much, Long Fei once again said, "The three of you must be careful when you head to the extreme regions. If you can't wake them up, forget about it. I'm thinking of other ways." Big Sis said, "Yes." Wait. Long Fei thought about what happened in the Zhenwu continent. Any demon beast that smelled his blood essence became extremely excited, and the idea moved, condensing a few drops of blood essence, and said, "Bring along my blood. If you can't wake them up, sprinkle my blood onto them." Ancient monster cannot be missed. Although it was on Zhenwu continent, he did not know if his blood essence would still be useful on Universal Realm, so he decided to give it a try. I hope it works. Long Fei secretly thought. The setup was complete. Long Fei did not stay any longer, and once again rushed towards East Imperial City at full speed. He had to hurry to East Imperial City before daybreak. The warriors in East Imperial City were about to lose their self-control, and every one of their pubes were filled with evil powder, ready to be harvested at any time. Once the harvest was completed, all that Long Fei had done would be in vain. Huff, huff, huff. Hoo-hoo-hoo. The green dragon battle suits will be able to hold on for a bit longer. This was his last set of green dragon battle suits. Long Fei ran out of the Night Valley. Outside the Night Valley, the elder swordsman waited quietly. Looking at Long Fei, she slowly exhaled and said, "Wanting to save someone even though you are acting this way, Long Fei said, "Things are done by the people. Some things must be done by the people. Several tens of millions of warriors. They can't just stand by and watch as the person dies, right?" Elder Swordsman looked at Long Fei and muttered, "Can you save him?" Long Fei laughed and said, "Aren't you the elder here? I'm too lazy to argue with you. Come up." With a light sound, the idea moved, and the 7-foot-long blade immediately transformed into a flying sword. Elder Swordsman grabbed Long Fei's arm. The flying sword moved. Buzz! The sound of a sword resonating was followed by the sound of a sword flying through the clouds. Its speed was comparable to a flying shuttle and was abnormally fast. Long Fei said enviously, "Elder Swordsman, you couldn't have been Fairy Sword Sect before, right?" Elder Swordsman was startled. "You know about it again?" Long Fei said, "This is a flying sword. I'm afraid only the Fairy Sword Sect would use it to fly." The Elder Swordsman was silent for a while. Fairy Sword Sect? There was a trace of bitterness in Elder Swordsman's eyes as he muttered to himself, "Fairy Sword Sect. It's long since gone, Sai. It's all my fault." If he did not obtain the power of ancient inheritance, his sect would not have been annihilated. His clan would not be annihilated. The Immortal Sword Sect of Universal Realm was the same. It could be said, in one night, God's tribe made the Fairy Sword Sect disappear from the Universal Realm, and from then on, no one cultivated the Immortal Sword anymore. There was no longer a sect like Fairy Sword Sect. The former hegemon had vanished like smoke in thin air. Early morning. The cold wind was bone-piercing. Even after a night of searching, he still could not find Long Fei. "I still haven't found it." "Search again. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we have to find him," the Son of Heaven said in a deep voice. He had come to the East Imperial City just for the Violet Gold God Guard to take control of the ancient inheritance on Tian Wu's body. He knew, even if Tian Wu died, the ancient inheritance would not disappear. It would either remain in his body or be stolen away. It was impossible to disappear. Huahong said, "Young master, what if we can't find him? Do you want to reap them first? It's time for the best harvest." The Son of Heaven's eyes narrowed. "Where's that trash Su Wan to? He still hasn't dealt with the dean of Donghuang College in one night." Huahong said, "He's not back yet." The Son of Heaven coldly snorted, "Trash is trash, the #1 powerhouse, dog sh*t. No use at all. Forget it." The Son of Heaven looked at the gradually brightening sky and said, "Collect and search for people first. Even if I have to kill all the people in East Imperial City, I must find him." Huahong's gaze turned cold, revealing a sinister gaze, and said, "Young noble, why not let those puppets kill people first? If you kill everyone in East Imperial City, you will naturally be able to find the person you are looking for." The Son of Heaven's eyes flashed up with a bright light. He smiled and said, "Good idea." Joy appeared in Huahong's eyes. The Son of Heaven said, "Go make the East Imperial City chaotic." Chapter 2906, Riots. Chapter 2906, Riots. Boom. Boom. Along the streets, outside the houses, big families, small families, the entire East Imperial City exploded after a strange flute sound. The eyes of those warriors whose bones were as thin as firewood suddenly changed. They pounced on the crowd and started to fight crazily, as if they were going through a mutation. Ah! Ah! Chin-san, it's me, it's me. I'm your wife, you are. Daddy, Daddy, it's me. Bastard, you bastard, could it be that even your grandfather? Chaos. Kill. Die. The entire East Imperial City was in chaos. Massacres were everywhere, and deaths were everywhere. Those warriors who took the spirit-gathering pills were like crazy people. They were completely out of their control and could rush to that place without any problems. No matter if they were old or young, no matter what their relationship was, they had a command in their heads. Kill. Furthermore, they themselves were completely unaware of the pain, as if they were numb to it. Dongwon College. Within the academy, thousands of disciples were guarding the entrance. All of them held their weapons tightly and solemnly. Waves and waves of screams of pain rang out from outside the academy's gates. These screams made their hearts tremble slightly. Just what kind of monsters were they? Even the acute winter demon beast were not like this before when they entered the group. The academy elder's expression was also tight as he encouraged them. Everyone calm down. Don't panic. Do you understand? An elder rushed to Dean of Donghuang College. Principal, it has begun. Dean of Donghuang College's face turned pale. He nodded his head and asked, "Is Long Fei back yet?" Blood was still trickling from the corner of his mouth. It was obvious that he had just been severely injured. Qian Yin replied, "Not yet. He never appeared again since he left his residence last night. I'm worried. Will he?" Without waiting for Qian Yin to finish speaking, Fu Xishan immediately said, "Long Fei is definitely not that kind of person." Wu Li also said, "Brother Long is indeed not that kind of person. If he wanted to run, he would have already done so. Why stay behind to concoct the antidote for the spirit-gathering pill?" A student elder said slightly, "How do you know if he has other intentions or not? Maybe he is in cahoots with the pill refiners of the spirit-gathering pill evil sect?" "You're right. Just based on a muggle from a lower plane? You all believe it, but I don't believe it. What can a general-level warrior do? Save the entire East Imperial City? No conditions? Even he himself wouldn't believe it, right?" "Exactly. Lord Dean, we can't trust him too much." Fu Xishan panicked and immediately roared. "What nonsense are you all spouting? Do you know what Long Fei paid to save the East Imperial City? Do you know how he's been these days?" An elder snorted. "Maybe he is acting for everyone to see. How else could I deceive you? At this time, the East Imperial City is already in chaos, and they still haven't appeared. Does this mean that there isn't anything special?" A few elders said in a mocking tone. They did not believe in Long Fei. Qian Yin slightly said, "Long Fei isn't that kind of person. He must have met with some sort of emergency." Dean of Donghuang College said, "Wait a little more." He could tell that Long Fei really wanted to save tens of millions of warriors, but he was worried about whether or not Long Fei would come back in time. If that was the case, the East Imperial City would not be able to withstand it. The fate of East Imperial City was currently in Long Fei's hands. Everyone was extremely anxious. "Oh, heavens, save us. Woo woo woo. Why? Why is that? Oh my God. Why are you doing this to the East Imperial City?" Miserable wails rang out. Old people, women, and children didn't even have the strength to fight back when facing a powerful martial artist. They were like cabbages cut into two halves. The East Imperial City was lit up in all directions. Su clan. Ah! Ah! Su suddenly woke up from the pain. His face was extremely pale. His eyes looked like they were about to pop out. Ah! Ah! His entire being seemed to have gone crazy. Several Su family elders tried to use the cure, but it was useless. Their cure was like a clay ox entering the sea, disappearing without a trace in an instant without any effect. Suddenly, Su jumped down from the bed. With a twist of his eyes, he looked like a different person. His figure moved and directly broke through the window and flew out. So, "Miss, hurry up and chase him." It was also at this time. One of the guards hurried over. "Elder, the city lord's gate is broken. Many people have already rushed in. Right now, what should we do?" It couldn't be stopped. It could be said that no family could withstand it. This was because these puppets were not afraid of death, not afraid of pain. They were like the zombie in the movies from their past lives, with only one command in their minds: kill. The Sioux clan elder's face sank. Sioux escaped, and the Sioux family fell. Patriarch Sioux Wando had gone missing, and the Sioux family was in a mess. Suddenly, an elder said, the students of Dongwon College did not take any spirit-gathering pills to go to Dongwon College. Not just the Sioux clan. Many first-rate families in East Imperial City knew that Dongwon College was the only place that didn't use the spirit-gathering pellets, and it was probably the only safe place. Adding the dean of Dongwon College's royal realm, he would definitely be able to block it. Suddenly, many families were retreating towards the Dongwon College. From a high vantage point, he overlooked East Imperial City. Looking at the rivers of blood and the wailing cries coming from all directions, the Son of Heaven's eyes slightly narrowed. His face was filled with intoxication. To him, this was like an incomparably wonderful concert. Every scream was an orgasm. This made him extremely happy. Ha ha! Kill, kill, kill to your heart's content. The Son of Heaven laughed excitedly and said, with your deaths, I will bring glory to you. You should feel the supreme glory. Ha ha ha. Huahong stood by his side, looked at the flow of people heading toward the city, and said, Sir, they are all rushing to the Dongwon College, and just now they have received news that that piece of trash, Su Wantu, has been suppressed by the Dean of Dongwon College. However, Dean of Dongwon College has also been severely injured. In the entire East Imperial City, there is no one who can match up to young master anymore. The corner of the Son of Heaven's mouth curled up as he laughed out loud. Ha ha! Scanning across half of East Imperial City, the Son of Heaven lightly said, I like the feeling of dominating the world. Dongwon College. Ha ha! Kill them all. Huahong said excitedly. Understood. The flute moved again, and the flute music sounded once again. It floated out, and all the warriors rushed towards Dongwon College. In another place, Polar region, the three Yimei sisters stood at the edge of the crevice. Big Sister took out the blood essence that Long Fei had given her and slowly poured it into the crevice. Chapter 2907, Ancient Monster Awakening. Chapter 2907, Ancient Monster Awakening. Big Sister, is Night King's blood essence really useful? It's not time yet. Will the ancient monster really wake up? We've already tried all kinds of methods. This is the final method. If it doesn't work, then I think... Big Sis, you may looked at the cracks that were emitting hot air. The other two sisters shivered. At this moment, the polar abyss. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A series of explosions continuously sounded out from the abyss. The originally vast and boundless plain suddenly began to melt before falling down. It was as though it was breathing, going up and down. The three sisters quickly retreated. Seeing the sudden change, the three of them were slightly happy. It seems like the Night King's blood essence can really stimulate them. A fiery aura was emanating from the crevice. The entire polar region started to shake. It was as if an earthquake was occurring. Cracks continued to appear and spread. Boom, boom, boom. The whole scene was abnormally terrifying. At the same time, the four forces Wormhole, Ice Field, Night Valley, and Ghost Cave quickly sensed the change in the extreme. The ancient monster is about to awaken. It's about to awaken. Ha ha. Human, go to hell. Ha ha. This year's midwinter is East Imperial City's doomsday. Ha ha ha. With the impact from the ancient monster, who would be able to withstand it? Prepare to head to East Imperial City. This time, I will make the blood of East Imperial City flow like rivers. In the wormhole, the giant demons on the icy plains began to move. This time it was different than before. They had come with their full strength. When the ancient monster awakened, they were fearless. The Night Valley Elder also frowned. The ancient monster is about to wake up. It seems like Night Empress has succeeded. Night Valley, warrior, listen up. Everyone, hurry to East Imperial City. Remember, no one is allowed to move or attack without my order. Ah, Night Valley, who had already been preparing for a long time, had made all the necessary preparations. They also knew that Long Fei was a human, but they knew even more clearly that Long Fei was their Night King. Ghost Cave. The corner of Queen of Blood Moon's mouth raised slightly as he muttered. Looks like the ancient monster is awake. Lord Ghost King, what should we do now? The Queen of Blood Moon smiled slightly. Cooperate fully with Long Fei. 3,000 ghost generals, listen up. Send troops to East Imperial City. The entire western regions was in an uproar. Not only the East Imperial City, even the Fatri sect was shocked. What the hell is East Imperial City doing? It's still not winter yet. Why are the western regions so chaotic? And why are there giant demons appearing from the depths of the earth? Who knows? Why do we care so much? The people of the East Imperial City are the descendants of a group of criminals. Compared to the other regions, their talent, blood vein, and potential are the weakest, and looking at the East Imperial City, it seems like a white horse has appeared to scout Yuan Tianwang. You're right. At this moment, a white figure flashed out from the depths of Fatri sect. His figure that was as white as snow flashed out in a flash. An elder of the Fatri sect immediately replied, Yuan Tianwang. He's from East Imperial City. Looks like he wants to go back and save them. What can he do? For the past few years, Yuan Tianwang did not make any progress at all, and did not even manage to step into the Emperor realm. He had completely wasted the ranking of exploring flowers, probably because he came from the East Imperial City and is the descendant of a sinner. The shadow was like lightning, flashing with a silver light. Yuan Tianwang did not care about what others said. Every single year during the early winter, he would ask Fatri sect for a request to protect the East Imperial City, and the Fatri sect would indeed send someone to protect the East Imperial City during the early winter. However, before winter arrived this year, no matter how much Yuan Tianwang begged him to do, it was useless. No one paid any attention to him. This was also because for the past 5 years, his cultivation had never been able to step into the Emperor realm. The resources given to him by the Fatri sect were getting fewer and fewer. He also felt a sense of powerlessness, but he had never forgotten to nurture his East Imperial City and East Imperial City. If East Imperial City did not help when he was in trouble, he would go alone. Huff, huff, huff. In the extreme regions, the ground still moved as if it was breathing. The flames in the fissure grew increasingly intense. The three sisters did not leave. They had always been paying attention to the changes that occurred under the crevice. They would have to wait for the ancient monster to rush out before they could relax. Deep underground. Is it the boss blood essence? It can't be wrong. After so many years, I can finally feel boss's aura again. I feel like crying. 100 years. It's been 100 years. I thought that I would sleep here forever, and I thought that I would never see boss again. Who would have thought? Ha ha. He smiled excitedly. There were tears in his eyes. Bring it on. Brother Bai, it's time for us to go on stage. Haha. Then let's break through this place together and let this world tremble once again for the boss. As soon as he finished speaking, Walala, the flame inside the crack was like a pillar as it crazily spewed out. Instantly, the earth split open as a surge of power shot up into the sky from the depths of the earth. Roar. With a dragon's roar, brilliant blue rays of light, like ice crystals, shot up into the sky. An incomparably huge dragon rushed out of the ground as it spewed out flames from its mouth, as if it was going to burn through the sky. Frost dragon. But the ice crystal blue body had many flame patterns on it. Ice and fire. The guy that Long Fei had brought out from the demon land. At this moment, buzz. A gigantic spear suddenly burst out from the depths of the earth, flying straight up into the skies before landing heavily on the ground. At the same time, a white silhouette flashed. Roar. The giant wolf howled at the moon. The strength stripes rippled. Next, he landed beside the giant spear and grabbed the giant spear on his shoulder. All of the white fur on his body exploded like steel needles. It turned into the appearance of a werewolf. It looked as cruel as it could get. The colossal dragon spiraled. The white wolf roared. All the demon beasts in the depths of the western regions let out a low roar. The entire western regions was in an even greater turmoil. The three sisters were scared silly by what had just happened, so much so that they forgot to run. The white wolf sniffed lightly, and its pupils suddenly shrank. In an instant, a white shadow flashed past, and the giant spear in its hand suddenly pointed straight at the three Yume sisters. Fast. It was shockingly fast. The white wolf said solemnly, "Who poured the blood essence down just now?" Big Sissy May said, I, it's me, it has nothing to do with them." Boom! Frost dragons descended, stared at the three night devil sisters, and then said softly, "Xiao Bai, they have the aura of a boss. Could it be that they are?" Xiao Bai also noticed it, and immediately put away his spear. Revealing a fawning look, she said, "Sister-in-law." Table of contents. Table of contents. Ha ha. Ha ha. The Son of Heaven looked at the tens of millions of warriors rushing towards him one after another. The disciples in Dongwon College were all injured, and he couldn't help but burst out laughing. So what if I didn't consume the spirit-gathering pellets? We still have to die. Dongwon College. TCH. He can't even withstand a single blow. Even if the Dongwon College had 100 emperors and powerhouses, they would still not be able to withstand the combined attacks of tens of millions of warriors. Moreover, these martial artists didn't care about their lives. They could only give orders. The entrance to the Dongwon College was broken through, but the students of the Dongwon College could not resist at all and were crazily crushed. The entire East Imperial City had lost all ability to fight. No one was his match anymore. The Son of Heaven sneered, "Invincible is so lonely." All right, tell them to stop. The most important reason for his visit this time was to obtain the power of the ancient inheritance. This was the fastest path he could take on the God's Tribe Palace. Hua Hong blew the flute, and in the blink of an eye, all of the warriors stopped their attacks. The Son of Heaven moved in the air and quickly landed on the Dongwon College. He said coldly, "How is it? That's great, isn't it? Haha. Do you want to continue?" He was extremely pleased with himself. It was all in his hands. He liked to see those weak, depressed faces. The crowd looked at the Son of Heaven, their eyes burning with rage. The Son of Heaven did not care. The angrier the others were, the more excited he got. "You don't like me? Ha ha. Come on, come and kill me." A disciple suddenly moved and used all his strength to send out a punch. The dean of Donghuang College had no time to stop him. At this moment, the Son of Heaven stood still on the spot. His eyes turned cold, and he smiled disdainfully. "Is trash like you worthy of fighting in front of me? You're courting death." As soon as he finished speaking, bam! The black shadow behind the Son of Heaven moved, throwing out a palm attack. It directly blew that disciple into pieces, and blood splattered all over the ground. The Son of Heaven disdained. "Trash." The black shadow descended and silently stood behind the Son of Heaven. Dean of Donghuang College's eyes moved. Royal realm. Hua Hong walked forward and said with a heavy voice, "Why aren't you kneeling down when you see Godchild?" "Kneel." Hua Hong's voice fell. The million puppets inside Donghuang College shouted in unison, "Kneel." The sound of his voice shook the sky, and the scene was extremely cool. Slamming down onto every single person of Dongwon College, their hearts sank slightly. Dean of Donghuang College said in a deep voice, "No one in Universal Realm would dare call themselves Tian, unless they are a God's tribe." The Son of Heaven laughed. "You are right. I am the descendant of God's tribe." As soon as he finished speaking, the entire audience shook. The space between Dean of Donghuang College's eyebrows tightened. An elder of the Su family said softly, "He is indeed a descendant of God's tribe." God's tribe. He is God's tribe? Is it really the God's tribe? Why is it like this? Isn't the God's tribe supposed to be protecting us? Everyone was terrified. In their hearts, the God's tribe was unreachable. and was the god of universal realm. Shouldn't God protect the world? Why kill? Right now, the East Imperial City was in chaos. This was all caused by him alone. The Son of Heaven sneered. God's tribe is supposed to protect universal realm, but you all have to have a right to be protected. Trash like you all aren't even worthy of being protected. Trash should just disappear. Ha. The Son of Heaven smiled coldly. Dean of Donghuang College said solemnly, "What exactly do you want? Since the East Imperial City has become like that, what is your goal?" The Son of Heaven said, "The goal is very simple. Who fused with the power of the ancient inheritance that is commanded by the violet gold god guard. Hand him over, I can let East Imperial City go. It itself is the power of my god's tribe. You trash are not worthy to possess it." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone was slightly startled. To many people, they simply did not know what the power of the ancient inheritance was. However, for some people, their eyes suddenly shook. Ancient inheritance, strength? The strongest power in this world? Born from the ancient world? How did it appear here? I've never seen one before. It was too shocking. Dean of Donghuang College said, "There is simply no such thing as the power of the ancient inheritance in this place." No. Haha. The corners of Godchild's mouth curled up as he smiled sinisterly. In that instant, the black shadow beside him moved, grabbing a student from Donghuang College. His right hand moved, grabbing the student's hair bun, directly pulling it. Crack! The whole head was torn off. Godchild laughed faintly. "Is there one now?" "Not yet." Without waiting for Dean of Donghuang College to speak, the black-clothed disciple moved again. Another disciple's head was pulled off as blood wildly sprayed. It was a tragic sight. The Dean of Donghuang College's pupils tightened as he said solemnly, "Godchild, the power of the ancient inheritance that you mentioned does not exist here. If there is, do you think you would be allowed to do whatever you want?" The Son of Heaven's eyes narrowed, and he said, "You won't cry until you see the coffin, will you? Kill until they say it." This power of the ancient inheritance is within the East Imperial City. If anyone says it, they will be able to live. If you don't want to say it, the shadow moved again. Bang, bang, bang. Several disciples were directly beheaded. This speed, this strength, it was completely unstoppable. Many people turned pale and trembled in fear. But no one said, because they did not even know what the power of the ancient inheritance was. In just half a minute, more than a dozen disciples were killed. Dean of Donghuang College was in incomparable pain as he directly knelt on the ground and said, "Godchild, we really don't know. I beg you, don't kill again. They're just a group of children. They don't know anything. I beg of you." The Son of Heaven walked forward, looked at Dean of Donghuang College kneeling on the ground, laughed coldly, and stepped on his shoulder, pressing his head down hard, then said playfully, "Who the hell do you think you are? You don't even have the qualifications to beg me. Do you understand? Speak. Who exactly is the source of the ancient inheritance's power?" The Son of Heaven let out a loud roar. At this moment, Huahong suddenly saw Fu Shishan and said in a low voice, "Young noble, that brat and that woman's relationship is not shallow." The Son of Heaven raised his eyes, stared at Fu Shishan, and smiled. "You, come here." Fu Shishan's body trembled slightly, his fists secretly clenched. This time an elder of business alliance of Fu family gave her a storage ring and said, "There is something inside that Long Fei gave you." Fu Shishan walked forward. The Son of Heaven grabbed her by the hair and asked, "Where did that boy go? Speak." Fu Shishan's eyes stared at the Son of Heaven. The idea moved and immediately donned Phoenix Cloth's clothes. Boom! A strong defensive power shot out, directly pushing away the Son of Heaven. The Son of Heaven's eyes were filled with anger. With such clothes on his body, he raged, "Kill him." It was also at this moment, in the distance, atop the 30,000-foot wall, Long Fei roared out, "If the thing you want is here, come fuck me." Chapter 2909. What plane is this? Chapter 2909. What plane is this? He was still too late. Even with the elder swordsman's flying sword, it was still too late. When Long Fei stood on the city wall and saw the chaos within the city, his heart immediately tightened. Seeing that the Dongwon College was packed full of people, Long Fei became even more worried. Immediately, Long Fei screamed at the top of his lungs, "The thing that you want is in this daddy's hands. Come and fuck this daddy." As soon as he finished speaking, the Son of Heaven suddenly turned and stared straight at Long Fei, who was on the city wall far away, a light shining in his eyes. Fu Shishan's eyes moved and immediately said, "Long Fei." Dean of Donghuan College was also shocked. Long Fei, Qian Yin, and Wu Li were also equally shocked, their faces full of shock. It's really, really back. They thought that Long Fei had slipped away and would not come back at all, because coming back to this scene in East Imperial City was equivalent to suicide. As long as there was nothing wrong with their brains, no one would come back. But Long Fei returned. Hua Hong whispered into the ear of the Son of Heaven, "Sir, it's him." Immediately, a sharp light flashed in the Son of Heaven's eyes, and he became excited. The anger in his heart was swept away, and he smiled sinisterly. They are here to die. Ha! In the blink of an eye, the Son of Heaven looked at Hua Hong and said, "Let that trash know the power of our puppet army and piss his pants in fear." Hua Hong laughed sinisterly and picked up his flute to lightly play with it. In an instant, those warriors who consumed the spirit-gathering pellets became even more deranged. Each and every one of them were like a ferocious beast rushing towards Long Fei, wishing that they could tear him to shreds. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Tens of millions of cultivators surged forward like a tidal wave. The scene was extremely shocking. Fu Shishan shouted anxiously, "Long Fei, run!" The corner of the Son of Heaven's mouth curled up as he sneered and said, "Fleeing? Would he be able to escape? You think you can run after stealing my God's tribe's things? It's better not to have this dream." He did not place Long Fei in his eyes. He did not even put the entire East Imperial City in his eyes. Dean of Donghuan College was also worried for Long Fei. Long Fei was very special. He was someone Xiao Yao City wanted. However, Mu Clan and God's tribe were mortal enemies, so this relationship couldn't be revealed. However, if Long Fei got into trouble, even if the Son of Heaven didn't make a move on him, the Mu Clan wouldn't let him off either. Dean of Donghuan College thought, could it be that East Imperial City will not escape this calamity? The crowd searched. One by one, they executed their strongest techniques, flying through the sky and flying through the ground, frantically rushing towards Long Fei. Long Fei stood on the city wall with his fists clenched tightly, feeling nervous in his heart. If the pill he refined had no effect, then he might die here. After all, tens of millions of warriors were like living corpses, completely not caring about their lives. Even Emperor Powerhouse would be exhausted to death, unable to withstand it at all. In the dark, Elder Swordsman said lightly, "It's still not too late for you to escape. As long as we leave the city, no one can catch up." Long Fei shook his head and said, "Since I am here, I will not run, and I do not have the word flee in my dictionary, not to mention a mere descendant of God's tribe. Even if the King Emperor Xian were to come, I will not run." Elder Swordsman said indifferently, "Your courage is commendable, but generally, these kinds of people die early. Kid, since you're not running away, then I'll tell you clearly. Once a battle occurs, I definitely won't interfere. You can only rely on yourself." He didn't want to expose himself. He did not place too many bets on Long Fei, so he could not reveal himself because of Long Fei. Long Fei also knew in his heart, "Elder Swordsman, if I can endure this, can you promise me one thing?" Elder Swordsman said, "Go ahead." Long Fei said, "Teach me how to cultivate the power of ancient inheritance." Elder Swordsman trembled slightly, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Let's talk after you endure this time." Haha. Long Fei laughed excitedly and said, "Then it's a promise. The power of the ancient inheritance, the strongest power in the universal realm." However, Long Fei did not know how to cultivate. He only knew how to hunt demon beast bosses to level up, but not every boss could help him increase his ancient inheritance's power. He needed to train on his own. The Mahayana realm of the killing sword. The realm of elder swordsmen's ancient sword spiritual power. These were all the power of the ancient inheritance, and were all extremely powerful. As for Long Fei, he had 4 streams of ancient inheritance power. The power of the black and white under the dragon-shaped mark. The power of the super force of Ming clan passed down in the Ming clan. The decaying power, and then the killing sword. He had divine power, but he didn't know how to use it. This was very infuriating. He needed a mentor. He needed to cultivate to increase his ancient inheritance's power, not solely by killing bosses. What was the power of the ancient inheritance on the body of the elder swordsman? Long Fei didn't know. However, he knew that the power of the ancient inheritance on elder swordsmen must be extremely strong. Huff! Long Fei let out a heavy breath, looked at the puppets that were getting closer and closer, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he said slightly, "Come, come, all of you come." Haha. While they were talking, Long Fei moved his body and took out the super huge pellet from the space ring. It looked like a huge iron ball. What did he take out a steel ball for? Could it be his weapon? Damn, is this kid sick? Is this metal ball used as a weapon? What's the use of this? And if he kills a disciple of my Chung family, I will never forgive him. Yes, the same goes for my Zhou family. Our Song family is the same. Fu Shishan's gaze tightened. He held his breath and did not speak. Qian Yin was the same. Dean of Donghuang College also stared at the huge metal ball with a pair of downcast eyes, his heart also starting to worry. Can it be effective? Bam! 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 There were already people rushing up the city walls, crazily climbing up. The scene was exactly the same as what was happening in the zombie. Long Fei looked into the distance and said with a heavy voice, "Wind." Outside the city walls. Maybe it was due to Long Fei's summons, or maybe it was due to some other reason, but suddenly a gust of wind blew into the city. The cold wind pierced through the bones. The wind speed was extremely fast. Long Fei put down the huge pill and punched with his fist. Crack! The pill shattered. Everyone was dumbfounded. What is this person doing? Holy shit! What the hell is he doing? The iron ball broke. What the F***ck are you doing? While they were still in a daze, white smoke began to drift out of the supreme Dan beads. The white smoke blew along with the wind, blowing crazily into the city. The Son of Heaven was stunned. What kind of plane is this? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.